at 8 a.m. We'll start with roll call.
Lucas Richardson.
Here.
Kelly Greavy.
Here.
John McCracken.
Here.
Jermaine Sullivan. Mary Kay Wilcox.
Here.
Okay, second item would be the approval of last meeting's minutes. I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
Roll call.
Lucas Richardson.
Yes.
Kelly Greavy.
Yes.
John McCracken.
Yes.
Mary Kay Wilcox.
Yes.
Jermaine Sullivan's absent.
Okay, the next item is an NRBC event that the city manager wanted to discuss. I don't know, is Bill gonna be coming up? No? Okay. So I guess,
He was looking for organizing an event with city staff, like a cleanup project. So basically, what my understanding is, it would be the same as we do for volunteer projects, but getting city staff involved. So, you know, I think it's a great idea, especially for city staff to get their skin in the game. I mean, it's obviously volunteer, and sometimes you get 2 people, or sometimes you get 10. It sounds like this group is probably gonna pick a date and have a bunch of projects lined up to do on that date, and I think we can just include maybe city staff and assign them certain projects as volunteers, is what it sounds like.
are we thinking specifically blight or specifically beautification projects? for
You know,
that?
it sounds like
Yeah.
probably, as we look at these, and we'll talk about later, I think a lot of the volunteer work's gonna be more beautification than blight. You know, just the way it's shaping up. And just understand that the cops are not gonna bring beautification projects, you know, that's more for the group to find. We got the blight stuff, and you know, Bill and I were talking in the parking lot, and he's looking at vines growing over the parking, you know, stuff like that. So just having an event, having city staff assigned to a couple beautification projects, I think, so.
Yeah, I think, like you had said, you know, the police officers are kind of focusing on the blight. I think the biggest, thing that's been brought to all of our attention with being on this committee is starting to find those beautification things that, who's enforcing them? You know, the high vegetation growth, you know, the overgrowth onto the sidewalks and stuff like that. I think it's been an eye-opener for me, at least, to say, oh, I guess nobody's really doing that. So I think that's a good idea for us to keep focusing on those, and then, you know, helping on the blight projects that Chief brings up to
Yeah,
our group.
I agree. And, you know, the beautification stuff, a lot of sidewalk stuff, right-of-way stuff. So I would recommend to this group, you know, we're gonna talk about blight projects, but you're gonna find out blight projects aren't probably, they're gonna be pretty challenging as far as what they need. But I would leave it to this group to just start a list throughout, as you guys, I mean, we all live in town, a list probably through the chair of beautification projects. And the whole group doesn't need to consensus this. We could put it on the project list. Let's be honest. I mean, just not to get on a tangent, but just to look at this intersection at First and Maple, we all know the intersection here, right? Well, this right-of-way here is always high grass. Can we put that on the list? Yeah. How long will that take? 15 minutes. You know, we could just combine, that could be done through you. We don't have to all have consensus. So I think we can just start a list. And then when we get on game day, so to speak, who do we have for volunteers? Okay, you 3 take 1, 2, 3. It can be as easy as that. So the beautification is probably going to be more the elbow grease and the less time, whereas blight is going to be more challenging. I mean, we're finding out why some of these houses are the way they've been for years. So that's kind of my thought process on it, unless you guys see any differently.
And I think, you know, just the way that all of us have been kind of communicating, sending myself like some of the high grass stuff to then forward to DPW to send out the letter and stuff like that. It's been good and it's been effective so far. And
Have they been
honestly, nobody was
responsive to
probably
that?
doing that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
from what I've seen, you know, even brush pickup and stuff, all that stuff is happening almost immediately, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
Because probably nobody was doing that before, so unfortunately.
Well, and they've changed the process a little bit on brush pickup, as far as the first time they'll pick it up, they'll leave some literature behind saying from now on, whereas in the past they just drive past it.
Right.
So they've kind of adjusted their process. So yeah, so if this group, moving forward, just email the chair. I'll volunteer you, Lucas, just for just projects. And Mary can start a list on Excel if you guys want to communicate as far as beautification. We'll call it beautification. So it's easier on public property because you don't need permission. Private property, we just need permission for beautification. So does that make sense?
Lucas, did you already tell them about the roundabout, the sidewalk that we were talking about at our last meeting? Has that been taken care of?
I know that was cleared off at one point, but I remember for the Forest Festival, it was definitely
Oh, yeah,
not.
it wasn't.
Yeah, so I can circle around on that. That's the northwest corner of the roundabout at First and Lakeshore Drive. The sidewalk is like a foot deep of sand. You can't even go on it, so that's what Kelly's referring to.
Has anybody forwarded that on to the DPW?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't remember if I have or not, but
I got you. Okay.
I will send that.
So going back to item 3 here, this event that we were just talking about, do they have any date in mind yet? Or do they want?
I think they're looking
For us.
from us to that date, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And by that date, we'll have a list of volunteers, hopefully city staff and other volunteers, and then we'll have a list of projects.
So when we identify opportunities, you would like to know the address, obviously, but you want a time estimate and what's going on?
Yeah, I think that'd be good, and maybe we have it as like a goal for each of us to get like, I don't know, like 3 of them or something like that.
Just to get the scope of it.
To get like a mini scope, how many volunteers you think you would need to do the project, and then how long it would take. Because that's, I think, how we'll be more effective. If you, try to shoot the moon, you're only gonna get 5%, but if you get, a good schedule, you can schedule certain days and
Okay.
do it methodically.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, to put that to bed, that's what he meant by that. That was the event.
Okay. Well, it's good to know that city manager's on board with trying to get us some volunteers too, so that's positive. I guess we could probably move on, right? Volunteers, I don't know if we've added anything to that, no, okay.
Nobody's emailed me.
Have we reached out to churches?
I have not.
I have not.
We should probably reach out to the churches. I think I emailed somebody contact information. The Tabernacle, United Methodist, and the other churches, their youth groups are always looking for projects. And this is right in the same thing what kids are looking to do, especially in the summertime. So I think we reach out to them and put whoever they have for a coordinator on our volunteer list. So when we have a project, we can call the volunteer, our volunteer coordinator calls our volunteer coordinator, say, hey, we're gonna weed whack, whatever, that kind of thing. So, but I think we have to reach out to them.
Yeah, and at least put them on the list.
Yeah, and say, are you guys interested? Okay, well, we're gonna call you when we get a project, type thing. I don't suspect, it's great we put that out on social media. I don't suspect people are gonna, sometimes you gotta grab them and say, hey, you wanna.
So I had an idea regarding that is, we just talked about for item 3 is identifying a few different opportunities to clean up, but if we all take on personally recruiting like 3 volunteers by our next meeting. I was able to, at the gym, talk some guy into helping me clean up over there on 9th Street. We did it. So that was one, but I could get a few more. But
Did his contact get on the list by chance?
I sent it to Kelly, and I think so.
Yeah.
Yep, so. But I've talked to other people, and begrudgingly they said, yeah.
You gotta grab them, right? It's,
I would suggest that we individually take that on. I mean,
Okay.
not everybody's going to be available at the exact time we need them, but if we get a few, if we get 20 to sign up, and out of that 20 we get 10 to actually do something on a particular day, I think that's probably realistic.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess let's have a goal to add a couple, or send Kelly a couple.
Yeah, by our
each.
next meeting or something? Does that sound okay?
I will reach out to United Methodist Church and their youth leadership person volunteers.
And you know the people at Tabernacle there too, right?
I know George who was here,
Yeah.
but I could reach out to him and ask. Kind of, what we're talking about is lighter duty, picking, weed whacking and maybe moving some brush, right? Okay.
I think I have their youth pastor's card, because I planted that seed when I went to the wrong church one time for property. So let me look at my office and see if that card survived.
Okay,
If it is, I'll forward that on.
okay.
What about the school? I don't really know a whole lot of people at the school, but you know, football team and NHS. Does anybody here know?
Yeah, but we're getting into August and football camp starting and school. I think we reach out, but it might be more difficult because they're going to start practicing scrimmaging. So
Yeah, I think it'd just be good to know like who the person to.
who the point of contact would be?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. I can provide one person, not the head coach, but one of the coaches. That might be a good, if they're looking for team building. If they want to do a team building project, they should probably reach out to us. I mean, a lot of times Habitat for Humanities will reach out to the high school football team, especially in Muskegon. They do projects, and so I can at least get a contact number to whoever list we're maintaining and say, hey, maybe get some football kids on this thing. So.
How about the baseball teams?
And the baseball teams. Yeah, all the teams.
I just know football. That's all. I don't know any other sports teams, but I can certainly reach out to the school because we have an officer in each school. School's not running, but I can certainly talk to Mr. Huber. And there might be other groups like leadership team amongst the school.
Teams too. We're just talking about Manistee High. You know, Manistee Catholic has teams and kids that would volunteer, I think, so.
Yeah.
And I'm in contact with Jennifer Flynn from Seeds, and there's funding now for them to help us with any projects that we want to, so I can ask her about that.
What is Seeds?
Weekend.
What is that?
After school program.
Is that what it is? Okay.
They helped out a lot on the Riverwalk.
Okay, so they're Monday through Friday is what they would prefer. Okay.
Are there any organizations that have like required community service hours?
You know what? I would be comfortable with the juvenile probation office.
I'm not necessarily speaking about people that are in that particular point in their life.
With juveniles, it might be a little different than like with the jail.
Okay, yeah. What I was suggesting is that I know that at least one of my employers, they didn't require it, but they suggested that we participate in United Way. So any organization, PCA or Martin Marietta, they encourage their employees. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out.
No, I was thinking, my brain went the cop way. I apologize. I heard community service. I know what that means.
You can't help it.
But the juvenile thing, actually, those girls that run that that might be something. These are kids that might
Yeah.
get caught with cigarettes or something to that effect. So, yeah, okay.
Okay.
What about the JCs? Are you part of that organization? All right.
A part of the JC.
All right, so we're still putting feelers out there. I like everybody trying to get 3 people. I mean, if we all get 3, we're talking 18,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, obviously we don't have a date or anything, but, you know, we could just ask them, hey, could we just save your contact to add to the list?
Yeah, get them on the list and then when we get the projects identified.
Reach out. Yeah.
send an email out.
And I think, Lucas, since you said that, I think we need to have a date when we leave here today.
Yeah.
That way we can all hold ourselves accountable and work towards that goal.
Okay. Well, so I guess to summarize, I'll talk to somebody from the JCs. I think I can talk to 2 coaches from Manistee Catholic. And then
What about the
probably the
seats?
baseball coach from Manistee.
Well, listen, the University of Michigan just had their kids up here. They've been doing projects all summer along northern Michigan. I mean,
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They fixed up places in Idlewild.
they did some pretty cool stuff, and they went, you know, that's the premier football program in the state of Michigan, so that's kind of a leadership thing, and they set the tone. I mean, so it's almost like you're using that as a way to kind of follow suit with our kids. I don't know if we'll get it in, but yeah, that's stuff that wouldn't otherwise be done. This is what it is.
That was my list. John, you said you talked to Tabernacle and who else?
I was gonna wait for, I was gonna get, are we talking volunteers still?
Yeah, I'm just trying to write things down.
Oh,
So we can.
Let me check and see if I got that card from the tab.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
she was got a contact there, and then I can, sign up for getting 3 additional volunteers
Okay.
and add to the list, and I'll just, I'm gonna suggest what we do is just shoot the volunteers' name and contact info to you, Kelly, if that's okay?
Yep.
Is that gonna work? Um, yeah.
You have any ideas, Mary?
I'm not sure if the Catholic Church has
Wondered about that too.
a youth group anymore, so I can reach out to the Catholic Church and
Okay.
find out.
And I'll contact Seeds, and I'll send out a mass social media post for Manistee Proud.
And then keep in mind with Corey,
yeah.
he's got all those.
Do you think you could just share that post, Kelly, that the other Kelly from the city posted that,
To put it on.
yeah, to reach out to
Sure.
you for, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the newsletter that came out with the assessment letter too. So
Yeah, the summer.
I'll look forward to that.
Whatever it takes to get the message out.
I read it.
All right.
I can check with the Girl Scouts.
These are good ideas. I'm gonna be able to clean the whole city.
What about the senior baseball league? I could,
All the senior softball teams down on First there?
yeah,
I don't know anybody down there, but
I do.
do you?
Yeah.
I'm sure they have time.
Well, they are wanting to do stuff with their own field, but
Good.
Okay. Anything else on volunteers? No?
I can get mine done probably this week. I feel confident I can get some feedback and get with Kelly where we stand with that.
Okay. I guess the next thing is, for Kelly and Chief, equipment purchases. I didn't put the list that you had sent me because I had already made the agenda.
Yeah, that's
By the
fine.
time, so.
yeah.
So here's a list that Kelly put together. Kelly, thank you for doing this and going out and this group needs to decide what type of tools they're gonna need. Our budget is $2,500 as part of the police department budget. Lucas, you and I talked before, but there doesn't need to be a vote to purchase these things. I just need a consensus. Couple things to think about. Again, what are the core equipment that we need? And then thinking about what are some sources. So if we have gas-powered items, who's paying for the gas? Where are we getting the gas? If we have water-powered items like a pressure washer, which it sounds like is essential, how are we going to get water? Are we going to ask the homeowner to use their water? Things like that. Other than that, Kelly and I had a conversation about where to purchase these things. If you're talking about a matter of 30% or less markup, I think we should probably purchase them local. So, and that's kind of where we're at. I don't see anything compelling in your list here that says, well, this group can't afford to not purchase local. So
So I love the local idea. There's a couple things that I,
Well, that's not my idea. That's, I was talked into that. I think that's, you know, if it's within 30%, I think we need to go, or whatever the number is, if it's not.
Yeah.
And let's be honest here, with a budget $2,500, we're not talking about a $20,000, $30,000 purchase. I think it's important to support local.
my one comment though is a few of these items that may not be available locally, you know, like gas pressure washer, like you're saying, you know, we might want to still consider getting like an electric, try to get as many electric tools, I think, as possible, so that way we don't have to worry about the gas.
You mean battery, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, battery.
Gas could be challenging as far as who gets the gas, who pays for, and gas is a sore subject now.
Yeah, I think it would just be easy, you know, just like probably all of us have at our homes, you know, get, you know, the same brand or whatever, and it has, you have 10 batteries for it, and
It would be great to have, if you have a weed whacker, or whatever you call it, a trimmer, an edger, all using the same battery so you can switch it out. That would be great. They make the blowers too. What I'm hearing from this group is, you know, you weed whack and you blow it off the sidewalk, or you blow sand off the sidewalk. It'd be nice to have like 40 volts you can interchange. I don't know if they offer that locally. We look at the list here and see. I mean, it looks like,
The only thing more hardware couldn't get was the battery-operated edger. I didn't ask for a battery-operated pressure washer.
do they make those?
yes, I have one.
They make
Really?
those.
Are they as powerful? Okay.
I mean, not as powerful, but they're enough for what we need it for.
What's the one, most of them you plug in. I mean, none of them are cordless, right? Or am I wrong? They make,
You're correct, right? They're an actual plug-in.
yeah.
So the issue we'd run in there is would we need like a generator, I guess, which would then be gas anyway, so.
Yeah.
Go green.
What we
Maybe-
can
maybe
get at
that's-
War Hardware, it should be purchased at Gilroy's. I mean, it's still local.
Yeah. I like that.
But I would like to see the money kept here in town rather than
Okay.
anywhere else.
I think, and just keep in mind though, if we are gonna be doing some of these, with batteries, they don't, you know, they have to be that same brand, so we'll
Right.
have to think about whatever purchase is made.
Although, I think it was Briggs and Stratton, I mean, there's all sorts of brand names that they work with.
Okay. So what is this group, let's get a consensus of what this group thinks we need. So let's talk about the tool and then the power source. If I can get a consensus, then maybe if you have some spare time, you and I just go shopping.
Yeah.
It could be that simple.
We definitely need a pressure washer. I mean,
Okay.
that's a no-brainer.
Is there a consensus here? Do we think we need a pressure washer?
Yep.
All right. Okay, pressure washer, how do we want to power it?
My vote is for gas, but, you know,
I think the pressure washer, in my opinion, is gas as well, now that I think about the corded.
Just because of the fact that we can not have to worry about using a homeowner plug-in extension cord, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Or if we're in a remote area doing the water, okay. Who's paying for the gas? It could be challenging.
any project I've done for the city's paid for the gas, so, I mean, I don't know. Is that an option or not?
No,
No?
not at this point.
Oh,
Can it come out of the budget? For $2,500? I don't think we're gonna go through that much gas.
What's it take? How many gallons does it take?
I don't think
Oh,
much.
I mean,
I work on stuff a whole day, and maybe I
Okay,
spend,
so pressure washer, gas powered, we'll worry about the gas later, we'll figure it out.
okay.
Okay, is that fair?
so we get a gas can then too.
We can get that figured out. Pressure washer,
Definitely.
so with those parameters, does this group trust Kelly and I to go shopping and buy one?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, pressure washer, done. What else we think?
Weed whacker, blower,
Whacker
yeah.
and a blower, and is it safe to say we need an edger?
I would say yes.
They make the combos, but I don't, okay. Edger, how many of
They
each?
Make those weed whackers that you can turn.
Yeah, and make them edgers?
Heard that those are not as good.
Okay,
They
What-
would be, they're good for when the grass is what's overhanging, but once it's like this wide of sod,
They can't, it would.
yeah, I mean, you probably might as well use a shovel.
Does this group believe that we should get battery powered ones that can alternate batteries through all these 3 tools?
I do.
Yes,
And then, okay, so does this group advocate we need to buy one of each of these?
yes.
Correct.
Okay. And we can buy one of each of these and huddle back up at the next meeting to see how much money we have left and make a, because again, we don't want to spend all the money on tools because we might be funding other things.
Right.
So one weed whacker, for lack of a better term, one blower, one edger, and I think Kelly had on here a hedge trimmer.
Yep, I see that.
Do you think that's essential?
I think that could help us too, yes.
I'm trying to read your face, John.
I'm just thinking about adding things to the list.
Oh, there's, when I was in there, I could have added about 50 more things.
I don't know if we need to add, like, your team dropped off yard waste bags.
I've got a bunch I bought with my
So that's.
my
already
funds
there.
out of the police budget last year. I have 4 stacks of them.
Right. I just wanted to add that, you know, I'm a bargain shopper, so that bargain barn up there on 31, near, just north of the hospital, they've got really good prices on hand tools there.
Okay,
Yeah,
that might be challenging because they
because
don't,
it's
they only
cash.
take cash.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. That's usually the first place I go when I need stuff for the garage.
Okay, just,
So I've got weed whacker, blower, edger, and what did we just call that?
Edge trimmers?
Hedge trimmer, and we want to make sure if we can, batteries can alternate, right? Is that fair? We can get batteries for all of them?
Yeah.
All right. What else?
All the shovels that are listed, I think shovels.
How many shovels we need?
I would say get 2 of each.
2 shovels? Is there a consensus there?
2
Start.
square shovels, 2 spades.
2 round pointed, yeah.
Yep.
You want 2 square shovels and 2 spade shovels?
I think so.
And 2 round.
So we want 6 shovels?
Is it, no?
I'm asking. I mean, we're gonna run out of room and money, but
I think,
Probably 4 is probably good for now.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have 3 in my garage. I'm probably gonna bring these projects if I can work. So, but again, we're talking about core equipment. What core equipment do we think we need to start out with? I mean,
So start out with 1 of each,
just go one of each, and then
like 2 rakes.
we can realize. Okay, one of each. So let's go 1 square, 1 spade, and then 1 what?
Round.
Is that different than a spade? Yeah. Okay, all right.
And
I
then
guess
2
I need to go to Bargain Barn and get some more stuff. It sounds like I don't know the difference. Okay, and then 2 rakes,
rakes, yeah.
so we're gonna want at least 1 steel rake, garden rake.
like
Like a heavy duty.
a thatching rake or a
Not a leaf
Just
rake, a
like the
steel
metal
rake.
one.
Yeah,
steel
I
rake.
forgot to put that on there. I
Yeah.
have the sheet for
I
it.
would say get
Yeah.
2 leaf rakes and 2 steel rakes.
At least 1 steel rake.
And we were sharing, trading on and off.
Oh, going
just
back and
that
forth with it.
area over there with the steel rake.
Okay.
I think that was also $16.99.
Okay. I wonder if there's a way to, I'll figure out if there's a way to tap into Bargain Barn or something. Do we agree that is Manistee County local, or are we looking at the city?
Well, that would keep money in town if
Okay.
you bought it at Bargain Barn.
All right, what else? I don't know what a lopper is. Is that the pruning
Yeah,
shears?
Yeah,
Scissors.
yeah. And
Okay.
he had a really nice one that had a 2-inch capacity.
And garden hose, which is gonna be for the,
Pressure washer.
We need-
presumably.
We need 2 50-foot to start with, yeah. The city always gives me a hose that's 100 feet, and it's too much to deal with. You want 2 50-foot hoses.
Okay.
So, in the case that we're doing these beautification projects on the city blocks, I'm guessing our water source is gonna be through a hydrant? So.
I don't think I would assume that at all.
No,
I would not assume that.
I had the homeowner.
from the homeowner?
I would assume as a homeowner, I mean, my thought process is, we're doing projects the question is gonna be when you get into, like, a no man's land. So let's say you use a pressure washer for something on the south loop, where does the water come from? I don't think you would tap into the hydrant. I don't know how that would work with a hydrant to a pressure washer.
We wouldn't do it, it would be this water department, but we could coordinate that.
Yeah, I don't know how that would look or with that. We can get that question answered, but when we're at homes, or even if we're on a sidewalk in front of a home, I think we can knock away, hey, we're trying to make this thing look nice. Can we just borrow some water? That doesn't seem unreasonable. We're not gonna get like a tanker truck. And so at some point we have to work out some of the smaller details.
This is just a thought, but if we're doing things on public property and using a homeowner's water source, could they get like a coupon from the city?
Using a pressure washer
Oh.
for 3 hours is gonna be a $200 water bill, so.
Yeah, I mean,
But will we use a pressure washer for 3 hours on one thing?
I use a pressure washer for 8 hours on one thing.
But you're talking the Riverwalk, right?
Well, I was at the
Yeah.
Lions Pavilion too. I mean, it just depends.
I think that question gets answered, project to project. I don't have the authority to give anybody a break on the water. I don't know if the city would support that. I don't know. It's gonna be one of the challenges with the pressure washer. If we're using it on a home, it's common sense would say, we would ask the homeowner, you're getting free labor, can we use your water?
Certainly, but if it's on public property, I mean, it's the city's responsibility to pay for that water.
Well, if it's on public property, who gets charged for it? I mean, I
The
don't,
city.
the
I mean,
city doesn't charge itself.
If we use a homeowner's water, they shouldn't have to pay for us cleaning public property.
Yeah, well, I'll ask the water, Ed Bradford that question to see. I'm trying to think of a scenario that would come up, so.
So
The
wall
question I'm
on
hearing
First
is,
Street.
how do we tap into a water source if we're doing sidewalks? Or the wall down First Street, what water source do we use is the question I'm hearing.
Like you said before, I think it's case by case, and we can figure the logistics out later on that.
Yeah,
But for some reason, I only brought that up because, we might need fittings and whatever. But
well, that's the thing when you have a pressure washer, how do you power it? We answer that question, we're gonna power it with gas. And then number two is where do you get the water from? So.
Right.
That'll be part of the project management each time.
I also thought we needed a wheelbarrow, but I'm not sure.
You don't need a wheel, I'll just bring mine. Let's get mine.
I think that we should get a couple tarps. That'd be nice. Yeah, I'm sure you would have probably used those.
Yeah. Yeah, we would.
Because, we're going to have the waste bags, but I don't know, maybe it's easier to put everything on the tarp.
You can get some really nice, not nice, but good tarps at Gilroy's they have a pretty good selection. You can get them fairly inexpensively, just to pull stuff and, how many tarps would you guys like?
You
2 tarps, and what size tarps you looking at?
Probably like medium in size, I would think. Not
And medium is what?
Yeah, maybe like a
10 by 20?
Yeah. Probably.
All right.
So,
Got it? 10 by 20,
Yes.
two tarps.
fall comes upon us.
And I would like green
Whatever you want. Get maize and blue.
instead of blue.
Maize and blue.
Yeah.
All right, what else? I'm sorry, guys. What are we missing here? Is there anything else? And just understand, some of these projects, we make sure we have a surplus, because some of these projects we might do, so you find we might have to buy paintbrushes and paint, you never know.
I was just sitting here thinking
Yeah.
about stuff like that.
This stuff here is probably more beautification.
For beautification,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. So I think if we have a consensus on what we just talked about, I think I have enough direction to grab Kelly Greavy and go on a shopping spree, to get these equipment. Hopefully we can get them pretty quickly, but I would imagine by the next, if we can't get them quickly, it might change our decision making. So.
I think War Hardware could have it by Tuesday.
Yeah.
If we ordered
And
today.
Gilroy's is really easy to work with too.
Yeah.
So, all right. And just so this group knows, I have vests and gloves. John, do you still have those vests that you borrowed? Just hang on to those?
Yep.
And the police department will be in charge of storing this equipment, and I will be the point of contact for this equipment. Does that make sense?
Has everybody, Mary, has everybody on here sent you the waivers for us? Or
No, not
everybody.
We should all do that.
Yeah.
For volunteering, just to get out of the way? Sure.
I can't remember. I feel like I filled it out. I can't remember if I said
Yeah, I think
it.
you did.
I
Yeah,
did,
I think
okay.
you did. Yeah.
So, jumping back to item, I guess it's 4 here, but I'm thinking to myself that as I try and recruit people, I probably will have a waiver and say, hey, can we get, our board can just fill this out and give it to the city as an approach, just to make it easier for them.
So maybe you're thinking about having 10 copies.
Yeah, something like that. I can just print out my own copies and
Yeah, I think I sent them to everybody,
You
didn't
did.
I?
You
Is
did.
that okay?
If you
Do
guys have problems printing, we can always print them at the police department, but yeah, I think that's great, just correct, hey, can you help out? Yeah, sure, I'm not sure when the project's gonna be, but fill this out so we have it on file, and then we don't have to scramble right before we do a project to get right, yeah, I think it's a great idea.
And I'm scanning them and just keeping a file on.
And maybe if we have an Excel spreadsheet that's keeping track of our volunteers, we can
Yeah.
put a check next to waiver, so that we know who's got the waiver, who doesn't.
Yeah,
As simple as that. I don't think it has to be any more complicated than that.
it's good. Good
Would
housekeeping.
the Excel spreadsheet be easier for volunteers with Mary then?
I'm happy to do it.
As long as you two can coordinate on that, she can,
Yeah,
we can maintain it.
yeah, I can.
So you have a copy of that as well?
Yeah.
Okay. yeah.
Is there anything else on equipment purchases? We think we have a good plan. The next meeting, I would hope that we're gonna report back to what we bought and what it cost and what we have left. Yeah,
Do you see that this committee would have the same similar budgets every year? Or just this year for the startup?
I don't know.
What's your hunch?
My hunch is, I don't know. Hunches, I don't know. To give this committee the first year $2,500 is very forward thinking. So, I think someone made a comment, that's it for our budget? And I thought, well, no other commission has budget, so.
That's pretty good though. I mean,
I thought it is putting this commission in a position to be successful, at least equipment wise.
Yeah.
can we have baseball hats too? I'm just thinking ticks
Oh,
and
you're
hair.
being sarcastic.
We
We
have
can-
vests.
Yeah.
We have vests.
NRBC on it or whatever? No?
You want a hat that says NRBC on it?
Yeah.
I'm sure we could get those, but they're probably gonna cost about $20 a pop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I'll wear my Michigan State hat.
I thought about actually getting NRBC ironed on the back of our not jerseys. You got me, you got me, on the back of our vest, actually, so people, when they drive by, is it DPW, is it Department of Corrections? I don't have a problem with that, I can search that. I kinda wanna do that anyway, it's just when you see somebody walk around, who is that guy doing that? Oh, NRBC, what's that? And identifies, or maybe creates a little bit of, what is that group? They're doing some good work over there. So I can reach out and see what the cost is for that. It's an iron on.
I think that's a
right?
good idea
Yeah.
because otherwise you got, 2 random guys in your yard
Right.
Yeah.
in a brush.
Well, it's gonna
What's
say
going on?
NRBC, it's not gonna say the whole name because that probably comes, but I thought about that.
Are
So
you
let me,
going
I can,
Are you going through Sports Inc. for that or
we'll see who we go through for that, I don't know.
Love to keep it.
keep it
What are
local?
they made out of?
Love it.
What's that?
What are those things made? Are they like?
They're iron-ons.
Oh, no, but the vest. I'm just wondering if it would melt.
Yeah, might, we'll see, but we'll inquire about that. If we can do it, I'll probably do
A
it.
sticker, kind of like.
If the funds are more than I think they are, then I'll ask this group, but if it's $5 a vest, I think it's a good investment for having big letters say NRBC.
Contact Kelly Greavy to get on.
exactly.
Volunteer.
It could be, you were talking about the little green vests that you gave us. It could be something as simple as a stencil with a big.
You know what? That's a great idea. It could be that simple. It could, that's probably
I'm thinking a team building event for our next NRBC might be to.
stencil some
Stencil
vests.
Arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts, break off.
I think that is a very creative solution for that, actually. Yeah.
I can get the stencil.
I go through with all.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Volunteer to. get
If we
the
save
stencil.
$50 doing that, then we can put that money towards something that could, so that's a very good idea.
So do we need to schedule a arts and craft work session?
Will you have lunch?
Nothing wrong with a team building exercise amongst the NRBC, I'm telling you.
So I just wrote down, I'll get the stencil and I'll make the prototype too.
Okay, perfect. Because you got the, all
I
right.
have the vest, thank you.
And you know what? Hopefully, this will be a good problem to have. Hopefully, we need more vests by the end of this year, next year. Hopefully, you guys are asking me for more vests. It means we have more volunteers. Right now, I got 10. I think I have 10. So, all right.
And we're gonna use up 5 of them, 6 of them, so.
We've already used 2 because
Yeah.
volunteer that I got.
All right, so that's a great idea. Anything else for equipment?
I mean, with that said, if you think that 10 is not gonna be enough, should we just add like 10 vests, 10 more vests or something, just so we have them? I mean,
I mean, was it 10 we got? It was like 10.
I mean, if we're all gonna add 3 people,
Yeah,
best.
exactly.
Take a look. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
How many vests do you want?
10 more,
How many vests do you want overall?
100.
20 to 25, I think.
20, 25?
Yeah.
Consensus?
We'll see what we've
No,
got.
All right.
25.
All right.
All right. Good. Move on.
Done. Thank you for the direction. Great discussion.
All right. The next item was to recap on some blight resolution projects. So last meeting, we talked about getting more on the list there, Chief. I don't know if you were successful on that or not yet.
Absolutely. All right, so here's a list. So as this group's about to find out, the 2 parameters we set are owner occupied, well, 3, owner occupied, and the owner is either physically or financially can't do it. And so these are the lists that I have. There's not a lot out there that meet those parameters. Our guys are pretty much, some of the issues that we have are rentals, or owner unoccupieds, those types of things. So let's start off with one that I think.
Getting the citations, right?
What's that? They're all in the court process. Well, we'll just go in order. All right. I'm going to have you guys read this email. I don't want to read this publicly because it contains personal information. So I'm going to have you. Well, I guess it's not going to work, is it? Let's just go through the house. I'm trying to figure out how to respect property owners' rights, but you guys can read this at a different date. I don't think there's certain information we don't need to put out there, but it meets our parameters. So this is the house here. You can see there's probably a little landscaping. This is the driveway. Can you guys all see that pretty well?
Oh, yeah.
This is the driveway. There's some structural issues here. Not sure if we can address that, but I think there's work that we can do here. And I can email you the details of the house. I'm just trying not to put it publicly, but this person definitely needs help. Bad situation. I mean, there's a lot that we could do here.
Yep.
Another shot. This is the side of the house. I mean, we've got some structural issues up here, but a lot of clutter, a lot of things. I don't know, this group really can't address this, but maybe we can at some point. So,
Is the
And so-
homeowner able to pay a contractor to fix that?
no, that's why yeah.
Or fill out like some of the grant or loan.
And some of these project guys, we could say, well, we can help out with this with a volunteer group, and we can help out with this with an application, or sometimes it's like, we
Yeah.
can do this, there's nothing we can do for this. So again, bearing that in mind. So this is a project here. I will put the address out there. It's on Fifth Avenue here, as you can see. 269 Fifth Avenue. So again, just going through the pictures, it's landscaping, it's cleaning, this stuff here. Finding a place to put all this, so there's a little bit of pre-project coordination. So that's clearly blight. All right, that's on Fifth Avenue. What is this one? Okay, so this is an interesting one here. This is actually in the court process. this is the sidewalk through here, and they've planted all this stuff in the right of way, and it's pretty grown up. This tree and this tree are the same. You can see the sidewalk. Well, first of all, the sidewalk, you can tell there's some issues there, but we might have to coordinate, if this group chooses to address this, coordinate with the tree commission, because I think there's some language in the tree commission about this. To me, this is a site obstruction. If you're driving down the street, it causes some problems, but this has clearly been planted in the right of way. There is some junk, trash on the porch. The backyard's pretty overgrown. I don't have pictures of it. I don't know if we want to tackle it or not, but this is more the public eye type thing. There's some mental health issues here. I've spoke to this person myself. This is probably a house that I wouldn't send kids to. So there may be some concern. I think we focus on what can we do, the porch, the yard, and the right of way. If this group chooses to move forward with this project, I think that's where we keep our focus. And this is probably one that I would be on as a law enforcement officer.
Do they want our help?
They do, but there's issues there, you see. Well, they're in the court process now, so now they're a little more flexible as far as wanting help. But there's some issues there.
I've also been told on this one that the mail service can't access this mailbox.
Yeah, I mean, you see it here. I mean, a lot of this there's some issues. This person cannot do this themselves. It's gotten away from them. They live by themselves. And, yeah, they need help. If someone wants to go look at this sometime as for a scope, I would recommend you call me and I go with you. And we can make a determination that way. Jermaine went with me on one of these before, and she got it was a good educational experience for her. But, so anyways, that's a project. I think it needs some help.
What street was that? 305?
4th. Yep. That's 4th Street. The next one,
What was the other one?
269 Fifth Ave.
yeah, and I can send this to you guys too. I mean, 310 5th Street. Personally, my opinion is this is a house that we need. This is a house that this group, this is the epitome of something this group needs to focus on. Mom, 2 grown children. There's some health issues. Her husband died of COVID last year. He did everything. She doesn't know which way is up. Her plate is completely full. Very tough situation for her. So let's go to the photography here. You can't. This is. We'll get in. She has since cut the grass. That's not the issue. The house is different color to paint. Guys, this house needs new siding. This wood is rotted. Painting this wood is not going to do any good. We can go out there, whoever the project manager, look at it, but I have some close-up shots. I took these pictures myself. Hang on, we're going to be a little sporadic here because I guess you can't go from picture. Yeah, you can.
You can't.
Oh, you can't focus?
When you zoom in, you can't.
So if you look here, there's some issues. I think I have a better illustration with the actual paint. They paint over a bunch of times. Different colors. See the paint fading, different colors. We need some vegetation. We trim this stuff back here. But this is the wood here.
So if the wood's rotted, you think that it needs to be taken
It needs to be sided. It really does. So this is challenging. This is a challenging one, but this is based on circumstances. This case, this person needs help.
Maybe a grant.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is an opportunity for us to collaborate with United Way as well.
Yeah.
Everybody's got different resources.
Yeah, it's a tough story, and I'm not saying that this person is doing the best she can, but it's tough. There's some landscaping we can do. I mean, but there's some structural work that needs to be done here.
When we apply for a grant, how quickly does something like that happen?
It just will depend on where and
Yeah.
how much.
So, you know, I don't know if you try to sand that and paint it to get us by, but it's almost like, well, you can insert whatever analogy you want, but it's not good. But this is a tough situation. This is someone who just can't. They can't do it. The mom is working, and there's kids, and there's some behavioral issues, and they're grown adults, but they can't. So, is there something this group could do to help alleviate that? Well, I'm sure we could do some landscaping and cut this, just make until we can get a long. I think there's something we can do immediately, but this is. If this group could help this person get siding, that would be amazing and probably a big win. So that is that project, and that is located 310 5th Street. Some of these projects you've seen before. What is this? Structural issues, rotting, damaging, stuff is falling off. Had some issues getting companies with the job. There's some health issues here. And it's just financially they haven't done it because they can't do it. And so if we're looking at this house is located almost right next to the courthouse, or kitty corner from the courthouse. So you look at here. Now, I haven't been able to see if that, I mean, to me, that looks like, I don't think you're gonna be able to paint that. I mean, if you do, it could be a Band-Aid until we can find some more help. But this is a person who, because of health issues, there's some financial problems. So, you can see here. So, again, as you see, there's a reason why these houses are still blighted, because it's not just go there and slap on some paint. We've already got those people to get those low-hanging fruit things. So I suspect this needs new wood or siding, but I haven't put eyes on this. I put eyes on the 5th Street house we just talked about. I have not physically put eyes on this. Officer Pomorsky has. So I can't tell you if we could sand it and paint it to get us through a year or two. I don't know. So if someone wants to join me on that, or if we take a look at it, I can. I'm not a contractor, but, so I don't know what the condition of the wood is. So that's the challenge there. Otherwise, everything else looks pretty, you know, that's where we're at with that. Here's the front of the house. We got some missing soffit there, fascia, excuse me, there. Just some different things here.
Are we talking volunteers painting houses?
No, I
Are we
think this
talking
is-
professionals?
We're talking about identifying a problem and figure out how we address it.
Yeah, because I mean, it could be lead paint. Yeah, I mean, I think a professional has to do something like that.
Yeah, I think this is trying to, like, these two are, for our committee, is to try to help them
Yeah,
find
what's-
the people and find the
Solution.
funding, find the support.
Our toolbox is getting pretty diverse now. I mean, I was in a meeting yesterday where I was talking about murals and financial, I mean, it's getting, what's our toolbox look like? It looks like elbow grease with volunteers and ourselves weed whacking. It looks like maybe some financial institutions coordinating. Looks like maybe some other third party. So that's the key, is looking at this going, yeah, we need to help them because this is what the NRBC does. How best can we address this? Maybe it's trying to get them money to get a contractor, or nailing down a contractor to call them back. There's many ways we can do this. So, yeah, we're not gonna ask people to climb up here and paint. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Is it a shed we could paint? Oh, we could probably, Lucas and I could probably go on a weekend and paint a shed, but this is beyond that.
Yeah, I
So-
think when we get to the point of, you know, selecting one or two of these, you know, and if we are gonna try to help them reside it even, you know, maybe we try to find some contractors, get some estimates, recommendations, stuff like that, and then go forward with the
Yeah.
loan or grant process with them, applications, and
Right.
try to help them that way.
But as you're seeing is there's no like, oh, the simple blight. No, we've already
Yeah.
taken care of that at least in the categories of owner occupied. So anyways, okay. So there's that one. This is a tough situation too. Take a look here. This is a siding, this is the north side. There's some junk in the front yard here, but this is not weather sound. There's some medical issues and some financial issues that have prevented this. But as you see, there's issues.
What's the address here?
I think it's 316 4th Avenue. Let me confirm that.
I see.
316 4th Avenue. So, as you can see here,
Literally.
Yep.
it's not sound weather-wise. But pretty significant blight, right? I mean, it's tough. You can kind of see the background here.
You
So-
said that there were some physical or mental challenges?
Mhm.
Okay.
Roof looks like it's better.
Run out of the basement, probably.
So far, the theme has been siding. You're all catching that theme. So,
Well, that's what we identified from our tour too. I mean, that is the biggest.
yeah. All right, so what's this here? We're on Second Street. You guys have seen this before. This is a house that just, side of this needs more siding. That's the theme for today.
I don't think there is any siding there.
This is melted. I'm trying to, I think this is melted or warped, but this needs siding.
That looks like it's aluminum siding. It's probably warped.
Is this blight? Yes. Right? This is, I mean, it's not weatherproofed. So evidently we don't get out of our cars to take pictures, but, this is just tar paper.
This is 462 2nd Street.
Yes.
Let me see. That's the 616 Cypress is the green one, right?
Yes, that's next. So that one's just siding, and I say just siding, but we don't have great pictures here, and I asked, this is not the picture, it focuses eventually. There's a yard right here that has a lot of trash in it and junk, and sometimes people argue with what junk is, but there's also a garage associated with this house. It's packed full. I suspect that if we can find a way to get the trash and the stuff in the garage to the dump, it would allow them to put some of the stuff in the garage.
And the garage door is now crumpled up and
Is it?
just destroyed.
This might be one that we could work with Corey on, because he did say that we could probably maybe work on a dumpster.
Okay. And then, and the thing is too, talking, just to look down the road, if we have a day, whatever it is, and we have a bunch of projects going on, including beautification, because a lot of the day is going to be beautification stuff. As you can see here, these are challenging, but we might have one dumpster centrally located and pickup trucks bringing from different sites to that dumpster. Mm-hmm. That's the way it works in my head, going, man, if we have one shot at a dumpster, which to get a dumpster one time a year would be great for us, it'd be amazing. How do we maximize that? Well, we just get pickup trucks and we take the boards and the trash from that one house and the stuff from this, we meet on whatever street we have it on, and then we put them all in dumpster. So, something to keep in mind.
I think this garage would fill that dumpster.
It's packed full. It is, and this is a tough situation. These are all tough situations, but this is why people say, "Why aren't you doing anything with blight?" Well, we have. We made significant strides. Now you see what's left. What the challenge is, what's left. I mean, we've seen 5 cases. Do you think a police officer taking them to court is going to solve any of that? You don't have 30 grand for citing. You don't have it. A ticket's not going to help, right?
Would this gentleman or whoever owns this house or lives there, would they allow us to even take the stuff from the garage?
I think that's a conversation with whomever is assigned to it. Say, what, because sometimes you get these, and Jermaine and I got into it, well, that stuff's not junk.
Right, that's what I mean. If
But-
it's- they don't know.
Right, I mean, that's what Abby and I do for a living. I mean,
So-
it is a process to go through with the homeowner to get rid of it because it's an emotional attachment.
I get that. So if they absolutely, as we did on whatever road that was, Jermaine and I, if he says it's not junk and we try to extend the hand and he says no, then we have to take him to the court process and maybe that will help them understand.
What if?
I agree with you. That's, people say all the time, you know, my guys go there and, is that junk? No, it's my lawnmower. Does it run? No, it hasn't run. I'm fixing it. How long have you been fixing it? 7 years. Yeah, come on. Not in the city of Manistee, you can't have it. We have standards here, right? That's the whole part of it.
So what about rather than like a dumpster or a storage unit? And then if the storage unit is set up and paid for the first month or whatever, and then from there,
Could be a thing. I don't know. Could be.
not our problem. I mean, it's sad to say that after that, but if you really don't want to throw that away, you know, yeah, we can help you get a storage unit, but from there.
But then how are they gonna pay it, and then we'll have storage unit?
The longevity costs and how do you
That's what I'm
sustain
saying.
it.
I mean, that would be the part where
It would be
that's,
hard.
that'd be hard, but I mean, if that is the alternative.
John, what are you thinking?
So we have 11 opportunities, and I kind of go to matrices and spreadsheets and stuff like that. It seems like, to me, to kind of digest this all, I want to put these properties into a spreadsheet and identify, you know, what is beautification and what is blight, if it's siding, things like that, and kind of rate them.
I don't think any of these are beautification.
No, they're all,
They're all
but he's
black.
talking about other stuff too, yeah.
But
Rank them like,
I don't know.
Well, the first one was kind of,
Maybe they are.
Oh,
But
which one?
the first one was kind of beautification. I mean, it was just a matter of cleaning it up.
well, but it's still on the blight
It's,
list.
yeah, it'd be
That's
under
why-
the,
that's
under the
why
city
he
ordinance,
has
we
these
blight.
there.
It didn't
Are you talking about
decide.
ranking, like prioritizing them?
Yeah, and in that matrix, say that, you know, like this one at 310 Fifth Street, you know, there's definitely things that, you know, we could use our equipment that we just talked about. We could take care of that, but then also partner with United Way. And I think that, and just rate them that way, but just based on your body language, it sounded like, at least at the time, 310 Fifth Street, they really needed the beautification plus a little more. And then maybe some of these other folks, when they're approached, I don't know if there's a social worker, you know, if they're very attached to that big wheel or that they had when they were a kid that's outside and all faded, that I don't know, I'm just throwing out ideas, but my propensity is to go through and rate, see what we can do as an NRBC, you know, with our equipment that we're buying. And then beyond that, you know, if we elect, say, yeah, we want to link this person up with United Way, they really could use that type of support. I'm just throwing that out.
Yeah, and maybe to build on what you're saying is, so let's say that we say August 28th is my birthday, so I didn't have it. August 28th is our project date. So we have all these, and it's gonna be mostly beautification as we're finding out, and so we have like, let's say we have like 8 projects we're doing. Well, we might put this on the list. We can't address the siding by August 28th, but what we can do is go in with our equipment and we can trim this stuff back here, take that little piece off her plate, and then hook her up long-term with some other resources to get the siding, check in with her, winter time, but this, sometimes when a body in motion stays in motion, so you trim the bushes back, make it look a little better, it takes a lot off of her, then helps her kind of tackle the other stuff.
Yeah, and they would
So-
most likely be prone to take the next step with, wow, you really helped us out, thanks. And we say, hey, what about your siding, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing.
So I agree, yeah, some of these projects, we could, on a project date, we can only do part of it, but there's different levels of them, but maybe put them in a spreadsheet and prioritize which, you know, we want to do.
I do have a good resource for helping people get rid of their clutter. I don't know if we want to tap into that or not, but,
What is it?
well, Abby, she's a psych major and worked at Pine Rest, and she's helping people right now declutter their homes.
Potentially.
It's out there if you want it.
The only tool I have, you know what the tool I have? Is take him to court. That's all I have. I'm being serious. There's nothing else out there.
Yeah.
APS won't touch any of this. This is not adult protective services. There's no services out there. So it sounds crappy. But having a judge say, ma'am, I know you feel that's A, B, and C, but that is absolutely blight. You have to remove it. So by that time, we've got city police, their salary, the hours they've worked on it, the city attorney, all this stuff just to convince someone
But-
that lawnmower in the backyard is not.
But you need somebody that can be empathetic with them, and you'll get much further with that.
Sure.
And
I welcome whatever other resources.
Right.
But again, I think, at least for me to rate them to categories, what we can do as a team, and then beyond that, it helped me sort through the list and say, hey, we're gonna go after this one first and this one second. And these, the event that Bill Gamble's talking about, let's hold off, and tackle that one with that team. But I just tend to go to organization and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. All right. I put this on the list. I went there, and this is exactly what you're talking about, Kelly. I went there, and this group has seen this before, but he said none of this is junk. He's building the deck. I suspected. So I'm not giving up on this one. I don't think we should give up on this one. Jermaine I went there, and it was very, and again, I think there's some mental health issues there. I don't think we need to give up on people, but we would have to, in the backyard's worse, but the backyard's not visible to the public. I hate to say it, but.
This takes a while to get to the point that it's at, and then it becomes very overwhelming for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they have us come to their homes and help them that way, they'll see what it can look like, and they will be much happier for it, is in most.
I think in a perfect world, but if you went to this address as we did, he's gonna argue nothing in the driveway is junk.
That's okay.
And this is, he's working on the deck, he said. And all those boards are warped and rotted.
Well,
So,
it looks like he was working on it.
again, I put it on the list because I'm not ready to give up on this guy. I don't know, maybe we grab a contractor and say, well, let's get this deck built, but these boards are not. He's probably been working on that for 5 to 7 years, and this is not structurally sound. So,
to the garage.
the garage is full of stuff. The backyard's full of junk, but the backyard's not visible to the public, so people don't feel it.
There's no wall above the garage door.
Right here?
Yeah.
So there's issues here. This is an elderly man. It's an elderly guy by himself. So I think there's work to be done here. Even if it's a dumpster and we can negotiate him to let us take some of this stuff out of here. Again, what you're talking about, Kelly, is okay, look, see what we can do here. Maybe find a place for him to put all the other stuff, but
Where does this one stand in the blight process right now?
well, I told Tad to write him a ticket, but my guys are more compassionate than I am, some of the stuff here. Well, sometimes you have to do that to get results. So,
Would be the northwest of there.
what was the address?
714.
714 Elm. There's Elm. No,
That's
that was
804.
804.
No, that's not the right one, right?
To the next block to the north.
There we go.
Maybe that was perfect.
Yeah, so residence was chosen for every, so Tad's got it off as a potential for us. So he didn't listen to the chief. He's waiting to see. Write this guy a ticket's not gonna do anything, but, so, I don't know. I'm more than willing to go back out there and take another crack at this guy. I just don't know. Sometimes you have to help people even though they might not seem to want your help, but this guy's by himself, so. So anyways, there's that.
All right, so how does you got more?
Oh, yeah, more. This is minor stuff, guys. Brian Cook brought this to me. This is real minor stuff here. I mean, you could paint this. There's some landscaping, real minor. He doesn't have a lot in his area, Officer Cook, so he brought this as a potential. Now, the whole entire inside of the house is cluttered full, but that's not for this group.
There's some beautification.
There could be some stuff we can do,
Yeah,
right?
Some trimming and.
He told me the story, forgive me, I don't know the story, older lady, I don't know the exact, but this is something, you know. These pictures are from May, I can get you updated pictures, but and if you look here, we get an idea for what the house looks like. So I talked to Jermaine about this there's nothing we have ordinance-wise that addresses the inside of a house.
That doesn't look like blight to me on the outside.
Say again? It's not, it's more beautification. This stuff here is real minor.
Probably vegetation overgrowth. a little
You know, I can get the, so again, I asked for this officer and he doesn't have a lot in his district, so this is the thing for his district.
That one is real low fruit to me.
Yeah.
A little bit of trimming and
This is I'm gonna have to go to the map on this one. This one's on Maple here, my last one. I'm not sure why. Well, you can almost see it from the. Where is it?
trying to turn off the.
He doesn't have pictures on here, so he did, but hang on. This one has junk in the backyard, and I think it's probably going to be a situation where there's going to be argument what is junk and what is something I've stored for years. Hang on. Let me make sure. Who designed this software? Stand by. Lucas, I can't tell you how many times I've done that. I've got the wrong house anyways, I think. I think I've got the wrong house. There's junk in the backyard. It's not real visible, only to the neighbor. There's been some neighbor disputes over the junk. And I suspect it's a situation, I mean, you can almost see it from I suspect it's a situation where they would argue with this group of what is and what isn't junk. So I don't know if this is even something this group wants to tackle. But again, this is from Officer Cook, and there's not a lot of blight in his neighborhood. So, the exact same picture. You can see just a bunch of junk back here.
It's no offense.
When I looked at this, I thought, you know, there's junk back here. I get it. It's not visible to the public. My thought was this group probably has. Oh, you guys can. We probably have other projects we can focus our energy on.
I agree with that.
Let me see here. Let me make sure I got the right, because maybe it's 826 here.
These both show.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize, folks. It's 826. It's the neighbor. These neighbors have gone back and forth, and we've written cat pictures, and this is it. Minor things, broken chairs.
Do these two residents have the ability to clean up the?
They don't. Otherwise, we would. Then one next door does. She doesn't, according to the blight officer. Just age, some mobility issues. See if I can not click on the same picture again. The stuff here.
Oh.
So it's
That's
kind of
right now
snuggled
we have three with three that we would be asking if we could throw their quote unquote junk away, right? For your dumpster.
It's blight. It's blight and they need help.
So I can tell you when it comes to junk, 616 Cypress is pretty obvious. It's right by the highway. 714 Elm,
Yeah.
that's real bad. That's the driveway. All that stuff's in the driveway. This one's kind of tucked away a little bit. So going off of John's logic, if we had a prioritization list on the junk ones, this seems like it'd be probably the lower one. But we want to get there eventually, right? So those are the.
What's the committee everybody's opinion on what we should tackle first, or if we should, you know, like, I guess, bump some of these in together.
The one we just saw is an easy one. It's just a matter of getting somebody in there to help them go through their stuff.
Mhm.
And then we get rid of the stuff for them. I mean, that's easy.
So,
The challenging, just to warn you, when you go there, they go, "Hey," and they've got 50 items, they tell you 2 of them are junk. That could very well happen. So it might be,
Josh, it's what,
but then from that, you know, we attempted, and then the
Okay.
resolution would be, okay, we
tried.
tried, so now this
Yeah.
is still blight, you're gonna get a citation.
I think that's a pretty good position to have, say, we tried to help you, if you won't let us help you. So I like the fact this group's waited, I mean, take a swing at it.
so when people aren't willing to be helped, are they then fined or what happens?
They go the court process,
Yeah.
and those people, unfortunately, they probably shouldn't be fined. But there's other means this group could do. I mean, if you've got somebody, you could maybe identify family in there and talk to the son or daughter, hey, mom's got this stuff at the house, can we work, you know, there's, all these problems are different.
The 826, the last one you just showed, do they want help? Is this somebody that?
I think they'd probably argue with you what's junk and what's storage.
But are they wanting somebody to come in and help them with?
I don't know if we've asked her that question yet on that one.
So I think we should keep some in the landscaping field, like the 305 Fifth, the 815 Maple, and what is it, 310 Fifth Street, Fifth Street. Maybe try to trim, and keep those.
Let's write those notes down here. So, 305 4th Street. This,
Yeah, landscaping.
landscaping, 310 5th Street, which is the siding house. We can work on this and whatever else in the yard just to help start moving the ball, right? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
And in the meantime, get the process going for the grant.
Mayor, what was the other one you said?
815 Maple,
815 Maple.
that little trim.
Yeah.
That looks like a two-person job.
Let me send out some updated pictures too on this one. I can just send it out to the group.
Wasn't
So-
there more issues with that, though, that the neighbors said that there were,
Well, the entire house is full of clutter, but
I mean that there were critter issues?
oh, I don't know. I can find out.
I think that's what you said last
I
time.
can find out.
And that is an issue.
Do we want to put this on the list, or you're talking about landscaping right now?
Landscaping.
Landscaping right now.
You don't think rodents are beautiful?
They could be hazardous.
Youngsters.
Let's see here.
So what I'm hearing is everybody thinks that maybe we hit the pause button on some of the siding things for now, try to get some of the landscaping type projects, try to line those up.
I would move forward with the siding.
You'd move, so both.
Yeah, most definitely.
But for a project date, which we're gonna have the landscaping portion of that, and whatever else we identify in the community as beautification, to get to say this is our objective on this day. The rest of it is between now and whenever, the siding and UDI and else. That's what is that right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, tangible, elbow grease, weed whackers.
So then to get the ball rolling on the siding, I think there was 4 of them. Can we have the officers start the conversation with the documents that Mary put together? You know,
I think they already have on,
Oh.
yeah, I'll make sure, I'll push that back out to them.
I mean, this one looks like fun to me.
They might need some help from this group to fill out that paperwork.
hell, you might have to come over to my house.
I would love to, we're for hire. But, I mean, that looks so doable. I mean, it looks doable.
If they allow.
Yeah.
If they allow, I'm looking at rodent traps, these are rodent traps, lumber, that's like gold, that's like solid gold right there. But is there something else in the house that we can clear out so this stuff can go, yeah, I get it. What else do we wanna look at? Do we think we can address this on that day?
Yeah.
And then look for siding in the same kind of plan? Okay.
We could put every
So-
school to work here.
Yeah.
So, but I guess what I was trying to get at is if the officers are already starting the ball with the ball rolling with the siding thing, so.
Well, we're just giving them
what
the
else can
paperwork.
we-
We're not, the officers are just providing the paperwork. I can't ask my officers to sit down and help them fill it out. I mean, they,
Well, maybe, I'm not saying that, I'm saying like, can we ask them to see if they're, interested in moving on, or like having us help them with them? I guess I don't know what, handing them the paper and then checking it off the box is only gonna do so much.
okay.
So
I can have the officers on the siding projects talk to them about the loan process, like the paperwork that Mary provided. We can do that.
Is that, if they don't wanna do that, I mean, what else can we do?
Nothing.
Right.
Well, there's United Way, maybe some other thing. There's other things there.
Maybe we just talk to the homeowner if they're there to see how we can be assistance. What could we do?
Oh, wow, we're doing the other
while we're
projects?
doing it?
Oh.
That could be a great idea. Like, hey, while we're doing this, hey, I
Right.
think so. Yeah.
We're making this improvement for you, now let's look at your house, maybe there's something we can help you,
Going back to it's the software where the officers are making their notes. Do
Mhm.
they make a note when they've signed off on paperwork that they would allow us to do something on their property?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. It's too far in the weeds for them to do. Our officers already do enough with blight, and it's a unique model that our police officers in this town enforce blight. It's not a usual model.
I mean, we've got, like I say, 11 opportunities here, and knowing which ones are okay with us to do something, that they've actually signed off on that paperwork.
The waiver,
Yeah, that'd be
that's something I probably can facilitate with these. I'd like to hear what ones we want to tackle first, and then we can start working the waivers.
Yeah.
That's something I can do probably to take that off. I'm not gonna ask the officers to do that.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds simple, but going in, it's hard enough to get them to find time to go in and update their notes on GIS, and they do a pretty good job. Yeah. Usually people who do this in other municipalities, this is what they do. They're ordinance enforcement people. They do building inspections and blight. We've asked our police to do it. They do a great job, but that might be a little bit too far. Let me help facilitate that. So the police department can handle that. That's what I'm saying. And so we can have that on file. But let's see what this group wants to tackle. And what I think I'm hearing is, we've already named some addresses for the project date from a landscaping point of view. Do we want to do the north side one as far as, it's not landscaping, maybe there is, but junk in the driveway? Want to try to tackle that?
269 is an easy one.
Don't say easy, God. You just do it. Okay,
Doable one.
Yeah.
doable. There you go. That's better. Okay, let me get back to my thing here, guys. What else? Let me get back to the projects. Hang on a second. This is not my computer. Where the heck is the folder at? What about this one I don't think is anything but siding.
That's a pretty house.
That's the one with the siding issues. This is the one I think we just talked about, or no, this is, do we want to approach them about maybe some landscaping and getting some junk cleaned up and then have a conversation about the siding?
So it looks like it's mainly siding and the trims on the windows to me, but. I mean, it's not gonna take a whole lot of effort to.
Well, if we went there to trim some of that, at least we could have conversation with these people.
That one's.
Even if it's minimal, just doing it,
Yeah, just,
say, hey, look at it, we just helped
So
you
it
out."
sounds like maybe using a 20-minute landscaping job is a way to get it in to talk to them about further problems, and then if they say no, then we said, listen, in this project, we did this, we offered these resources, they said no, and then the police will know. We can tell the judge, listen, I want, that kind of thing. Okay. So we can put this on a list for whatever it needs. Second Street. I don't know about this one. I don't know what we can do with this. It looks like just siding. I think this is that back alley. That's the residents off the alley, I
I
think.
think we want to keep in mind too, we don't want to bite off too much that we can't be successful on.
Right, and I think we're gonna find out, we're gonna have a bunch of beautification projects too. What else? What else? Do we wanna take a whack at this, or do we wanna put this on a list?
Yeah.
The only reason why I say that is if we're gonna commit to doing that one driveway, we're probably gonna end up trying to get a dumpster for this project date, and then trying to
Yeah.
get some of the stuff in the dumpster.
Well, I mean, if we get a dumpster and we got a bunch of these lined up, you know, even if we go there and take 4 items off of there, it's still, I guess,
Okay.
something.
So there's no way that there's a spot somewhere where you could take all this stuff to and then get a dumpster and load it up?
No.
No? Okay. You know, I just, because it's gonna be hard.
Just in case you couldn't get a dumpster on that date, let's evaluate that. When we pick a date and as it approaches, we go, hey guys, we can't get a dumpster on this date, then we can problem solve and say, well, what are we gonna do then? I have some ideas for metal items, but the metal ones are the easy ones, the non-metal are the hard ones. So let's keep that in mind.
Or could we put it at a place at the homeowner's property and then go pick it up on that day? You know, like
Kind of like brush.
separate, yeah. It might be difficult to coordinate all that though. for
Let's
one
try to get a
dumpster.
dumpster. If we can't, then we'll come back to that contingency. So, okay, we can't get a dumpster on August or September, whatever. What can we do? That's what I think.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting a project list outlined here. All right.
If we're gonna have to transport some of the junk to a dumpster, we are gonna need somebody with a trailer or something.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Trailers.
Yeah, I mean, that's stuff we could probably rent.
People, well, or if people know anybody has a trailer, I think
We
we,
have a trailer, it's
Yeah.
like that.
yeah, I just plan on using my truck for a lot of this stuff. It just, otherwise you're just not gonna get it done. It's just not. All right, so we like 714 Elm Street.
So it looks like.
Kelly, did you wanna do
4, 5,
5?
5 that they talked about
Do we want
I
to-
have 6.
would be,
What do you have? That, I mean, that we just said that we were gonna do?
I put 305 Fifth Street, 815 Maple,
305 4th Street?
yeah,
Okay.
3054,
and
269.
Yeah, 269, 316 Fourth Avenue, and 714 Elm.
Oh, this one.
So that's 4. 1, 2,
So-
3, 4?
No,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
815 Maple,
Mm-hmm.
310 Fifth, 269 Fifth Avenue, 316 Fourth Avenue, and 714 Elm.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're talking about the landscaping for those, and then using that. Now, so I will work on coordinating and talking to the homeowners and getting those waivers signed and put them in GIS. Talk about what we want to do, and then, the one lady on Fifth Street, I spent 30 minutes at her house talking to her about her story and, so I don't think that'd be an issue. So the police department will take care of getting the permissions. And if someone says a no-go, then I'll just email this group and say, check it off, and we can figure it out. Now, what I would recommend, not to make the scope too big, is also if we have beautification deals, give them to Lucas so he can put it on the list. I mean, let's be honest, if Kelly and I can get this equipment, if we got a problem with this, I don't know, the right of way at this house or the sidewalk in this road, we can add that to the list and bang that out. Once we get that list, as we're working that list, we start getting volunteers. If we decide we don't have enough volunteers to do this, guys, then we just drop some projects off, or we could add to. So I think that's how I feel the process kind of goes.
So my question is, if we were to do this dumpster, where would we centrally locate it? Can we have it dumped somewhere on a piece of city property?
Yeah, we would look and see where our project's at and put it in the middle, I think, and
Okay.
we could put it on the road and I put cones around it, and, I mean, there's gotta be, there's gotta be some concessions made by the city to get this stuff done, but in my mind, it would be, we put it on the road, and I put cones around it. On the road, not the way to bother anybody, but we have that all the time, people put them on the road and we put cones around, because we want people to get dumpsters and clean up property, so we try to work with them.
Unfortunately, to centralize it, it's gonna be a little bit.
I know,
different,
we'll do the best we can.
Do you think people will be putting their own stuff in that dumpster while it's there, or how long are you?
I think people are probably more likely to steal stuff out of it and scrap it. I'm not too concerned with that. You can't
It's
control it
also
all.
the first Monday of the month where you can move a
Yep.
large piece of furniture, whatever, off the curb. in the
Yeah,
city.
big item. We put that out, we reminded them on Facebook. I think we've done a pretty good job messaging that.
Yeah, I mean, when we do this, maybe if there's large objects.
And then what about the toxic stuff, like the old
Oh,
paint,
you're saying,
that kind of
John's
stuff?
saying to leave, if there is a big item, you know, just to leave it and have Republic pick it up from the side of the curb and.
I think
not
that's a
use it.
project management thing. You figure out like, hey, our dumpster's getting kind of full.
That's a good idea.
Or maybe we can't get a dumpster, let's put these items out for big item day the next fall, you know. It's all part of the projects, yep.
Hey, can we?
I think you're
use
just
your-
compliant with whatever the policy is for the dumpster.
So what if you have old paint and stuff like that?
I don't think they allow you to throw that away.
Right, so what do we do with that kind of stuff?
Well, they had a paint pickup, I don't know the answer to the question.
It's only once a year.
Let's take a look, what's that?
That's only once a year, isn't it?
It's not once a year, it's once every 2 or 3 years. But let's take a look and see if your project has that. There's no blanket answer, each individual project's different.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
still bring that stuff to like the dump or whatever, though, they just. won't-
Paint?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
If it's solidified.
What is our date? Did we choose a date?
No, but now that we have an idea and a taste for what our projects might be, now I think it's appropriate to start picking a date. What do we have on the to-do list? Well, we've got to get waivers signed, we have to buy equipment, look at a dumpster, we need to beef up our volunteer groups, for sure, right? So how fast do you think we can do that? I would recommend at least having one more meeting between now and a project date, at least one more meeting.
Should we, just another idea here, should we assign a commissioner to each property that we talked about? Because I've lost track. That's why I need a spreadsheet of, you know, which ones we're gonna tackle. and what
Possibly.
needs to be done. And, you know, each one of us take a address,
States.
our volunteers, and go at it.
Be the project manager for that project?
Yeah.
That might be an easier way to do it. I don't really think, Lucas. It's a lot to dump on one person to manage all these projects. You know.
I'm sure that Lucas could do it, I'm just thinking.
He's trying to spread the wealth.
You know, the next thing on the agenda too is talking about, that wall. And one thing that Jermaine was gonna talk about, she wanted me to relay today, was she did, find out who owns it. If it is, I mean, we didn't have it surveyed, but the adjoining property owner to the city right away, she had conversations with them, and then it sounded like they're open to letting us do whatever on that wall.
Good.
And she had also,
Is that a cleanup wall?
and she had also said that we could clean it up or put a mural on it or both, and a masonry, she said, or mason, yeah. A mason is lined up for volunteering to help fix it. And she didn't think that there was gonna be any cost for materials, and she thought there was even leftover paint from the Fifth Avenue murals.
Wow, that's great.
So,
So do we want to add that onto our landscaping
I
thing?
think so, yeah.
I can't wait to start power washing that baby.
To
gonna
clean
be
the
fun,
area
just
up,
like-
is that what you're saying, Lucas?
You're all out of that.
I think it needs to be cleaned up, and then the
evaluate.
mason would,
Okay.
you know, patch whatever needs to be patched, and then.
But going back to John's comment, I think we need to assign
Yeah.
project managers for these.
I guess to that, the reason I brought that up is I think Jermaine's like right on that.
Okay.
So maybe she's focusing on that.
Hers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are we gonna pick a date, like maybe in September or something, so that we can work towards that?
I think that's probably a good idea.
'Cause August is so busy, for me anyway.
I was thinking September, October, so is what I was thinking, because then if we,
I was thinking next week.
yeah.
We can't get all this together by next week.
No way.
We would fail.
We gotta get all the homeowners homeowners are all gotta be on board, you know, have a little bit of coordination. We might even need like a work session
If
That's
we-
what I was gonna say.
and,
If we did it in September, and possibly if some things could get fixed on their homes, they could do it in October before the snow flies. If there was some like small deck or something, because I'm thinking of this one house, I'm not sure which one it was, the junk in the yard. He's been working on this deck for years, and the decking board is there. Now Corey from United Way said they do decks, so, you know, they could possibly have somebody do a deck. We can coordinate and see what can be done.
Yeah, okay.
so I'm guessing we wanna target like a Saturday or Sunday, right?
Well, somebody just said, what, seeds?
Yeah, they only do it during the week.
Oh, yeah.
Only do during the week?
But, I mean, we could, you know, we could
Do it
pick
during-
and choose for them.
Doesn't matter. We know what we want.
You thinking Friday, Saturday?
Then.
Yeah, that
you
way you
have
could
your-
have,
Those
I think
guys on
volunteers.
Friday, and then other people who work, you know, other jobs could come on Saturday. So you could open it up to more.
I could try to make sure if I have to work, which I would, I could still do some of the stuff I imagine on Friday.
Well, we could also use seeds for beautification around town too. I mean,
Is there a lot of people in Seeds that volunteer?
it depends. Sometimes I get one person, sometimes I get 5.
Oh, okay.
6.
So we should just,
well, and I think it's important to know too that, you know, since we have all this stuff lined up, it doesn't mean that we need to absolutely get it all done in that day, you know.
No,
If we
yeah,
have
just
some
start-
progress
yeah.
to it, you know, and if we gotta set up another day, then we set up another day, you know, it's not the end of the world if we don't get it done
Yeah.
in that one day.
So let's shoot for, what do you guys think, a Saturday? What do you think, John?
I am pretty flexible right now.
Saturday, my recommendation will be in September. That gives us 2 meetings, I believe 2 meetings to get all of our ducks in a row. Equipment, everything stored, because right now we need to, if we're gonna do this stuff, we need to beef up our volunteer list. I mean, we don't have the volunteers right now today to do this, so we need to really beef that up. Saturday means school's in session, college football. I'm not sure why I mentioned that. School, the kids will be out of school, so that, you know, so we still might be able to tap into the school resource for like the kids' leadership, so that might be a good thing. I don't think there's a lot of football games in high school on Saturdays, so we still could have the athlete angle, so yeah, I think, and the leaves shouldn't be falling. Yeah,
so what are we thinking, what day?
Well, September 3rd is Labor Day weekend.
yeah, no.
I'm not available September 24th. I'll be gone.
Does everybody wanna try like September 10th?
We talking the 9th in there too? Because I have,
Yeah.
I have an obligation the 9th. I haven't heard any nays about September 16, 17, maybe that weekend.
Is that a Friday, Saturday?
Yeah,
Well, aren't we gonna need more than one day? Or is this?
I think it's gonna,
What do you mean?
Well, you got.
Well, I think we
Get-
schedule the
getting
first one
commitments.
and then see how it goes or whatever, and then, okay, we gotta do these tasks still, let's set up another day.
So you're not available on the 9th?
no, I'm not. It's about the only day in the weekend of September I do have an obligation. And you had said something before about a rain day.
That's probably a good idea.
Sunday, like a Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, that's what, are we opposed to the 10th and 11th, which would be a Saturday and a Sunday?
I'm not opposed to that. How about September 10th and 11th then?
Works for me.
Does your obligation reach into the Saturday and Sunday?
I'll just have to get up early.
Are you, okay, well.
Yeah, I haven't,
We could find a different day.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's okay. That's okay.
September 10th and 11th is good.
Okay.
Just another quick idea here. Do we have an estimate for the number of volunteers that we think we might need for this? I mean,
I think that's some of the logistics we gotta figure out in the next
On each
4 weeks.
project.
Yeah.
You mean like what kind of, how big a roster we'll maintain?
well, no, I mean, we've ticked off maybe 4 or 5 properties here to help out. And are we thinking to do all of that, it's gonna be 20 volunteers? I mean, we might get a list of 40, and
Well,
only 20 can help.
I think you brought up a good point, John. I think you assign a commissioner a couple of projects. I mean, the work session, okay, I got,
Okay.
Smith Street looking at that. I drove by. Yeah, I'm probably gonna need 3 volunteers. We can get that done in an hour. Or Kelly says, well, okay, listen, this one I got over on 10th Street, I just need 2 people for an hour. That's how we kind of create that need by looking at it.
So should we just today, so that we can get started, assign whomever to each one so you can kind of go
Sure.
past it and
Which
then
one?
kind of get a scenario?
When was the elderly gentleman with the deck, that was doing the deck?
The property.
Elm
That
Street,
was the Elm Street.
714. Okay, well, just
You want
don't
those?
don't go there by yourself.
Oh, God, no. No.
Okay.
Which one taken, 714?
Yeah, and I also like the 269 Fifth, but if we're taking 1 or 2, I don't know, how many are we taking?
What, how many did we have, 6?
So what are the properties again? Can we identify those?
It was 269 Fifth Street,
Okay,
Fifth Ave, right?
or Ave, excuse me, yes. 305 Fourth Street, 310 Fifth Street,
okay,
316 Fourth Avenue,
okay,
714 Elm,
okay,
and 815 Maple.
okay. So these,
I thought it was 826 Maple.
Oh, I thought
Can we
it was
pull that up?
No, we didn't agree. 815 was the
was a
minor
cleanup,
minor
but the
landscaping.
older, yeah,
Oh,
that might
yeah,
have a
that's
critter
right.
issue, that house.
Yeah.
so, Chief Glass, the folders, the pictures here, can we get to those individually?
Yeah, so if you are assigned it, my intent was just to email that person the pictures.
Okay.
We don't, we're trying to work on getting a shared folder, a Google Drive. I don't want technology to hold anything up here. So if you have 2 projects, I can email you today the pictures for those 2 projects you have.
That would work.
Yeah, and I just hate to say, well, we're still waiting for the Google Drive and there's so many things that we're trying to overcome. And I don't want anything to stifle any kind of energy. So, it's like a who wants what?
I'll
Ellie
take
was-
310 Fifth.
310 Fifth, okay.
I'll talk to her then, hopefully maybe on the siding and then grants or something too.
Kelly said 714 Elm.
Yeah.
And then the other project too that wasn't on that list is the wall. So Jermaine's
Oh,
got
the
the
wall,
wall.
Jermaine's got the wall.
What else did you say, Kelly, that you wanted?
The 269 Fifth, if we're gonna take more than one.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got,
And you said this was a mom with kids and was just having a rough time of it?
That's the one I had.
Yeah, we can talk more. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I took the 310 Fifth.
Oh, is that the one with
Yeah.
the mom and?
Yeah.
Okay.
so we've
I'll
got,
take 815 Maple. So we've got 3 assigned, sorry.
No, we got
4.
5 out of the 7 assigned.
All right, so who's got 269 Fifth?
Kelly.
Kelly.
Okay, sorry.
So we've got 305 Fourth,
Or 316.
If you guys need a refresher, what it looks like, I can bring it up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because we've talked about a lot here. This is the this is the overgrown city right of way, and it's.
Are you on the tree commission or the parks commission?
Parks.
Is anybody here on the tree commission? That'd be really convenient.
Sam is.
Sam, neighborhood Sam. We'll have to coordinate with them, but this is probably a pruning landscaping thing. That's what this is, and some junk on the we throw away in the dumpster. So.
So this one's chief, is that what I heard?
What's that? Well, the chief went there, didn't go very well, so hopefully somebody
Oh,
on
in
the
there
law
without
enforcement.
your uniform on.
John, you'd be great for that one.
How many does he have? How many do you have, John?
This is 305 Fourth. I'll put my name on it.
If you want to go there, if anybody wants to go to any of these places, they feel like they have to go in person, call me, we'll go. I would recommend not going anywhere by yourself.
Yeah, going back to our first experience there on 9th Street, it was, I thought it was nice to have Officer Pomorski. It was us to have the green vest, it was professional.
If we have a project date, I can have an officer bounce around to all these project sites all day.
Yeah, it really helped grease the skids. It helped I think, help the homeowner, rest assured it was gonna be professional, and it was a nice experience. Some of the neighbors came out and said, hey, great job, and, that's what it's about.
It's
for me.
contagious, right? We're hoping this thing catches on.
The homeowner came out and gave us, some bags and her garbage cart.
I thought you were gonna say cookies.
So I guess I'll just bring this up. We did find syringes. So any sharps, do we have
We might have an access for that. If you guys find that, just call law enforcement.
okay.
Yeah.
So 316 Fourth Avenue, who's,
Pull that one up.
Yeah, I don't remember that
Uh,
one.
pull,
that was the one that was mostly structural, but you thought if you could get in there to clean up, you might be able to.
This is the house with the weather siding like this.
Ah,
See if we can do some of this stuff, and there's some junk in the front yard, and,
I mean, that could be done in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
well, you haven't seen the whole thing yet, so.
the objective from this one, from what I heard from everybody, was we wanna
Get in.
start the conversation
Yeah.
with the siding.
all right, so I can take that if everybody else has too.
Wait.
I don't have any, but.
You don't have any?
I don't have any, you can take it, I wanted to say what I want after these are all signed, so what I think I would be really helpful with is kind of the gatekeeper of like all of the logistics of this, so like if
Okay.
you guys take these on as your sites or whatever, maybe start thinking about, what it's gonna take for volunteers, hours, materials, equipment and stuff like that, and then I can start, cataloging all of that, so that way we can be more prepared for that day. Rather than going, oh, I needed that shovel, oh, I needed that rake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for,
We'll write NRBC on everything too, because I'm gonna bring my stuff, my weed whacker, all my stuff in my garage. So we'll make sure we write NRBC stuff on our stuff. And then if you bring something from your home, make sure you write your name on it, you know how these projects go.
Yeah.
so what I was gonna say is, for some of these, well, probably all of them, like the one where the vegetation is in the right of way, to talk to the homeowner and say, ask them what we can do and what we're not gonna do. Cause it looks like they've attended some of the flower beds out there. They don't wanna go in there with a weed whacker and take it all down, so.
Well, and I don't know what they're even allowed to do, I think is the conversation that we have to have with the tree commission.
Yep, that one's gonna take a little bit of tree commission coordination.
Is
This woman says that she didn't plant them out there, and they, I don't know, they got out there, and, yeah, we'll figure out what the solution is.
Dropping the seeds in
Yeah.
perfectly straight lines.
So, we'll see. Do we have any more we have to get assigned?
Nope, I think that was.
Nope,
about-
so, okay,
was
so
all the
I
ones that
guess
we
to
picked
be
out,
clear on
or
this,
they picked
this is the sites that we're gonna be working on, but doesn't mean we need to be going there to talk to
Correct.
anybody.
Right.
Don't go there talking about it unless you call me first.
Maybe if we wanna get a closer look, then we can have an
Contact me.
officer or something, or. you-
Contact me, not an officer.
Okay. And
This is
then
not,
otherwise, we can just go on the street and then kind of start writing down notes. or
well, you can
something.
drive by, you can do drive-by, yeah, just call, if you wanna go talk to people, call me. Now that we have a project list, I'm probably gonna plant some seeds in the places that we haven't really said. A lot of these we've already talked about getting help, so, Kelly, if you wanna go some places and talk about that driveway and anything, just don't go anywhere by yourself.
Okay.
So I'll coordinate getting those things signed. I'm just going back to the to-do list so we don't get lost here. It sounds like Kelly and I are gonna go shopping for equipment. The city manager gave me some sidewalk projects. I think we need to also have a list of beautification projects.
And I can hold the list of the projects that you said and then also start working on the.
Let me say this, let me muddy the water here a little bit. This project we're doing is probably about 6 weeks out, or 5 or 6 weeks out. What if we have a beautification project we think we can bang out before that?
Let's do it.
Yeah, we can
You know what I
do
mean?
that.
So can that be coordinated through chair? So example, I've got Duffy Street wheelchair, sidewalk's terrible. As soon as Kelly and I buy a pressure washer, we can probably bang that project out. Can we coordinate that through, just these quick deals, you know?
Yeah, I think,
Okay,
basically, if anybody has an idea about, hey, can we go do this, send it to me, and then I can send an email out to everybody, blind copy everybody, so then we're not
Okay.
yep.
in a group, and then, say, hey, a few of us are gonna be going out to this address at this time on this date if you wanna go. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I've got one waiting right now, which was a good one, and then we're gonna see stuff there's no reason to wait to September to do that, so, okay. Does that make sense? Is that good?
So just to recap for myself, again, I need a spreadsheet personally, but 305 4th Street, you've got my name down on?
15 Maple.
15 Maple.
305th, 4th, and 815 Maple.
Okay, thank you.
And if you'd like me to, I can build a spreadsheet with these addresses you've picked out with who the who the person in charge is and
Yeah.
what,
That'd be nice.
kind of just a general idea of what the issue is.
Sure.
I think as we report in our estimate for volunteers, equipment, maybe we could populate that
Yeah.
list too.
Are we able
We're
to-
still working on getting on a Google Drive, a shared drive, we're still working on that, but I don't want that to slow us down.
Why is, what's the holdup on that? I mean, I think that-
You're asking somebody who can answer that question. We got emails though, although I didn't see something come through for you. Did you get an email from me or no?
Not today.
Ed Bradford, so he set Mary up and Lucas, didn't you already have an email through us?
No,
Well, I sent you an email about how to set up, I don't remember seeing one for you, so let me get on that today. He set up emails so let me check with him. But I don't know about the Google Drive, but I don't want it to slow us down, so we'll do this until the meantime.
Just,
And then when we get this shared drive up, then we'll have a spreadsheet everybody can access, and then you and your house can say, okay, let's look at these you can take notes as you go. That's the point. So, I will keep pushing that from my side, but until then, we'll do this.
could you send like an all-day appointment for September 10th and 11th too, so we can just have it on our calendar?
10th is project day, 11th is a rain day, is that what we're thinking?
Yes.
Okay.
You're not thinking of working 2 days?
If we need to.
We're just gonna box them off, we'll figure out what they are later, okay.
Yeah, I just want them on everybody, and especially Jermaine's not here, so
Yeah.
we can
Yep.
have that done.
And then in my mind, just before we move on, it was a very productive, very ambitious meeting today. I'm gonna work on getting the waivers from the homeowners. I'm gonna go shopping at some point with Kelly. She and I will coordinate on that for equipment. I'm gonna contact United Methodist Church Youth Group to see if we have a resource I can give, well, it'd actually be Mary to maintain a spreadsheet for volunteers. That's my to-do list. Am I missing anything?
Oh, you were gonna look at the vests, what you can do. Oh, no, John was gonna do that then. What you're going to put on the back of the vest. I think, John, you're going to.
Did
do
you
that.
stencil it up?
stenciling and.
Okay, so we're good there.
Yep, and then I'm gonna reach out to the football team,
Right.
juvenile probation, and then check info for tab I have here. See if I got a card for the tabernacle for John, that youth guy. That's my to-do so far as the meeting stands.
And Ken, did you say we can do the wall on First Street, like, soon?
Yes, I'm gonna get with Jermaine on that, and maybe that's the one that, along with what Bill sends us, maybe I send it, hey, we're gonna go out here and start cleaning if you guys wanna come or something.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think, John?
Well, we brought up the wall, all right, there on First Street. We're learning a lot regarding murals and what other cities have done. And if we're gonna pursue grants, what the people that will provide the grant are looking for. And they're gonna be looking for, it's like, almost like a checklist of things. And some of the other things I thought, who's involved, was our RFQ sent out to muralists, and some professional artists, community members, somebody from the city, a small team to approve whatever is out there. And I touched on this a while ago. The city of Grand Rapids, there's a permitting process because they want to make sure that whose ever property it's on, they're going to maintain it. What if there's graffiti on it? And I was even thinking further that if it's a private property, and this is my experience in the city of Manistee, if you go in and add something, if the mural is $10,000, the assessor might be very interested in that you've added something to that property.
Sure, I mean, it makes sense.
Now, if we go in there and we patch up that wall on First Street, that falls under something called the Matthew Gas Act. And that's a repair and replace, and they won't bump your taxes. But if you have somebody that's like a Leonardo da Vinci that goes in there, puts in something that's very valuable, that, you know, and they're correct in their thinking that they might want to bump your taxes. So, I don't know.
So maybe we need to talk to George about, like a responsibility of the homeowner, you know, saying that if the homeowner wants us to do this, then, you know, we're doing it. We're not obligated to.
Are we talking about murals?
Yeah, like if they're bumping their taxes and then they come back and be like, well, I didn't know this is gonna bump my taxes up, and.
I don't know, that's a George question at all. I
Yeah,
think
so I
we may
don't
talk to
know.
Molly, but
Question. So, you know, are we gonna talk about murals now at this point?
yeah, let's, are we good with, so we're, real quick, we're in, resolution projects, we just talked about projects, great job, beautification projects, I've got one from Bill, it sounds like we might do this wall, so that's put to bed. Retaining wall on First Street, we're kind of there, and murals, I think we're there on the agenda.
What is the one from Bill? Dude,
It's a sidewalk on Duffy Street,
Sidewalk.
yeah, I'll get with whomever, you probably on it. It's probably a power washer, edger deal, and then whatever else comes up. So I think in the, agenda, I think we're there, retaining wall, First Street murals, that conversation.
So this is, you know, we've talked to Xavier from, the Ramsdale, we've talked to a gentleman from Morton's, which we'll go into in just a second. But, you know, in conversation with everyone, I think the best thing is to put together like a little tiny committee off of ours to work on this mural stuff, because there's a lot involved in it. I mean, there's documents that have to be put together, there's RFPs that have to be together, there's a lot of legwork that needs to be done, and John and I were kind of working on it, and I know Kelly's involved, or would like to be involved in it. So would that be something that we could do, us three, and then come back to you and our commission and say, well, this is what we've done, you guys approve it or deny it or change it, or, but we would do the legwork of it?
I think that if you're getting together, you have to be 2 people. We can't have 3.
Well, I thought if it's just a committee, we're not making any decisions, we're just putting
Yeah.
together documents. I mean, I've done that before, where you're just you're gathering information, getting documents, you make no decision whatsoever, you have to come back. It's just a source to get together to put this together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, John and I have been doing it.
Right.
But I think Kelly wanted to be involved in that, correct?
Yeah, but if I can't, that's fine.
Is that okay, Josh? To have
I missed the first part of it.
like 3, so basically 3 members kind of work on gathering information to bring to
To the commission.
our meetings.
I don't think it's an issue, it's big. What's that?
Regarding the mural.
I think it's basically, it'd be a subcommittee, but it's not a subcommittee. I don't think there's an issue with that.
Yeah, we can't make any decisions, we
no
can't
decision.
do anything, we just gather the information, bring it
I don't
back to the
think there's an issue
commission,
with
you make the decisions.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, at least the Manistee County Community Foundation has a checklist. If you're going to apply for a grant, they've got a checklist. And it's going back to what I said, they're gonna wanna make sure it's maintained, that there's a property owner, and there's a committee that reviews what is put up, that is artists and other people, I mean, professional people that, make sure it's not going back to, a bad mural, that it's done correctly. We would need, the small committee that we're just talking about to put that together, because none exists right now. Through the MCCP, they're gonna look for that from you, but we don't have it, to my knowledge. Other cities do it that way, and there's a permitting process, but it's probably gonna end up, we could make a template and say, here it is, run it by our commission here and have the city attorney say, okay, that's part of a guideline that we want. But at least the county community foundation is going to require that.
Sure.
If they're going to give you.
If we get grant funds from them, that's you're saying, yeah,
Yes.
yep.
The other thing, going back to this is, I think we need to just be upfront with these folks that we talk to, like the owners of the retaining wall on First Street, is that the community foundation will require that they put in 10% as well. So, or somebody towards that, so.
Well, like I was saying too, Jermaine seemed to think that the material was all kind of there, so it'd be just the artist. And you know, if we keep, I think we should keep it local. Like it has to be somebody from Manistee to paint that. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, and we know of professional muralists, so
And-
that's fine. But I just, the property owner or somebody's gonna have to put in 10% of the cost.
If they go.
But
If they
Yeah.
go.
For grants, yeah.
yeah, and you know, obviously it's a bonus if like the artist would just want to, help out and not get paid $10,000 like you're saying. But I don't know. I just don't want to assume that we need to pay them. If we can, try to advertise like this is gonna be good for the community. It's
Well, there's a
not
lot
like,
of places, there's the arts, there's
Yeah,
West Lawn
exactly.
College that might be interested, there are different avenues that we
Yeah, and I
can
think you
look
guys are
at.
talking about two different things. You're talking about a private property owner who says they can get material free and maybe get a painter. He's talking about getting a grant, putting people in touch with the grant to do a big mural. So I think you're talking about different things.
you're not saying specifically this one on first.
No.
I'm thinking that, based on the research that I did, is that if you really want something nice, you're gonna have to pay an artist who does this, it's their business. And we'd pursue a grant. Then there's what the property owner, whatever they wanna do on their own, and we would chip in. But if it's public facing, I'm thinking that, we wanna make sure that whoever does it, whether it's through a grant or the property owner themselves does it, it's gotta be something that's acceptable, that reflects, what Manistee is about,
we,
our market.
Some controls over it is what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get you.
I'm a person that likes to probably move too fast sometimes, but I guess the scars of experience have taught me to make sure that everybody's on the same page with things. And also, if we're gonna do this, is that somewhere, we announce that we're looking for opportunities, maybe it's on the city's website, so that nobody's disenfranchised. Like, why did the city do this for this private property and not mine? I've got a retaining wall, it's pretty ugly. But I just think that there needs to be a public announcement somewhere, so it's captured, that if somebody somewhere says, why did you favor them? That we said, well, we did reach out. I'm just saying that there probably needs to be a little process somewhere and some guidelines. So there's a lot of work here, sorry, I'm still taking the soapbox.
John and I spoke to Jeremy Logan from Morton's, just to use this as an example, and they're very excited about doing a mural. And if you looked at John's his presentation he did, he had the salt and pepper shakers covering, the silos by Morton's. Well, those are coming down, and now they're going to put up a new building. But they were excited to use the 6 ladies that are on the umbrellas. When it rains, it pours, and they have 6 of them, and to put it on their building. But they would want a professional painter, of course.
Sure, yeah.
And because it's something that's, for them. And we did ask if that was something that they would be able to help finance. And they did, he can't commit, but he said, yes, they would look at helping finance that. So that's a huge opportunity for Manistee. It would take one whole side of their building, which would be really kind of
Do you know what side that is? Do you know?
It's brand new. It's the new one coming up. They're just,
Okay.
they just were approved for it, so it's starting to be built.
Okay.
And John has all that information, but I'm just saying that we need to put our ducks in a row before we just go out there and start saying things. You know, we have to have everything in place so that, you know, we are protected as long as, and the homeowners or the commercial, you know, real estate or whatever it is. So having this committee and trying to put that together first, I think makes most sense before we just start running with doing something and then we have some consequences.
And this is gonna be a juried process, correct?
See what?
Juried,
Jury process.
juried process, where you actually have people who are looking at these, you're not just putting a mural up, it's being voted upon to make sure that.
That would be part of this whole plan.
Because you want to make sure the branding is accurate for our community and the quality is good.
But like with Morton's, that's their branding, you know, I
Right.
mean, that's their.
So, as far as this committee goes that we're just talking about, do we need to vote on having that, or we just do it?
What's that?
As far as this little subcommittee that we're talking about, do we need to vote on that, or do we just start doing it?
I don't know, it's really a subcommittee. I think members of this commission are gonna focus some efforts on what the graffiti, or not graffiti, geez. The cop brain, sorry, the murals look like. I think there's some more work to be done. I don't think a subcommittee is warranted here at this point.
I think it's just members of the committee that are working
Yeah.
and then bringing stuff to the meetings. I
Yeah.
don't think it-
Well, I didn't, because of the quorum rules, I didn't wanna.
Right, there's just no decisions. It's just your.
Okay.
The only thing I worry about is that this commission has a finite amount of energy. I don't want so much energy focused on this project over here that we miss what the whole purpose of this commission is. That's the only thing that I would be concerned with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the list here, and it is getting full, but it's not overflowing for this commissioner here.
Well, as the months go on, and frankly, the years go on, you guys are the founding members of this commission. You know, this is all this is the rocky road. We're gonna learn the scars of experience, what works and what doesn't work for years to come. This isn't, I wouldn't think a 1 or 2 year commission, so as things get more efficient, this commission can handle more, for sure.
And I think, I can't remember if I talked with you about it, but, you know, this could be something that we can see if we could add members to.
That's right.
That's all right.
Certainly. So I think the mural thing's great, I just don't want it to take the majority of this effort here. So it sounds like the plan is to have people working to bring things to the commission to talk about in the meetings. I don't think there's any issue with that.
Because we've done the legwork, you just gotta make decisions.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, just to go back with what Mary was talking about, it was really, really cool to sit there and talk with the general manager for the factory there at Warm Salt. He was excited about it. Well, we showed him again the salt and pepper shakers. He said, "Did you know those are coming down?" Or, "No." He said, "But we're doing this, and we'll send you our Morton Salt girls going back to 1914, and it would really be cool to see a collage of that on our building." So they're going to send us the architectural drawings, so we can do some more Photoshop work and run some things.
So I guess I'm a little bit confused. What would we be doing with this? Or are we just learning?
I think we're learning, and also we're probably going to do some Photoshop work with what their new building will be and what's going to be on it. And I got the sense that they were willing to provide a lot of the financial resources for it. I might be.
So we would be asking Morton to put things on their brand new building?
Yes.
So you're saying?
Well, I think that they're asking us to help.
Oh,
with things on
okay.
it. Because I thought he was very interested in our idea. And then he said, well, we're taking those down, but let's do something else with this new building. And we didn't talk about grants or anything like that. It's just something that they thought was a good idea, and they'd be willing to entertain, so.
And that's really no different than what we talked about for the tabernacle. I mean, he's excited about that as
Right,
well.
exactly, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
It
Except
sounds like, Lucas, there's probably different levels.
well,
There's probably different levels of involvement. Sometimes it might be the member of the NRBC just putting in touch with the artist or just help coordinating on it. And maybe down the road, there might be a thing where the NRBC is starting to get grants for things. So it sounds like there might be different levels of involvement if I'm,
Yeah,
Unless
and
I'm
it's, I
hearing
think
things
it's a
wrong,
good little entrance way to be talking to the right people and see, you know, how the process is and whatever.
So we've, you know, I've taken pictures of different, I'll call them canvases throughout the city. And I think it'd be, again, good to open that up. We talked to the chamber yesterday, and we threw that out there, you know, who else might be interested in something like this? And, you know, much like we just went through our beautification list here, or blight list, but kind of go through and see these other opportunities or canvases in Manistee.
So we did talk with Stacy from the chamber, along with the chief, he joined us. And so we did talk about housing and murals, maybe West Shore College would be interested in that. As far as housing, there are developers out there, you know, maybe the city looks at purchasing some lots, and maybe the chief wants to talk about that part of it.
I think it was good to meet with her to see what, they're more on the housing side, but there have been conversations floating around about how the city could have more control over some of these condemned houses. You know, sometimes they go for auction. A lot of times the city has the first crack at it when they're foreclosed, and is there funds for the city? The city could buy those and sell them or coordinate to have a house built on there. So again, these are just conversations and strategies, and why it's so important that people from this group are talking to the chamber, to Morton Salt, to, again, I talked about the toolbox and being able to put things in there, so I think it was a great conversation. I don't know if the city has funds for that or what their plan is, but you have to have these conversations, right? Because it's, okay, what if there was a foreclosure on Davis Street that the city bought, and you go, well, that's one house. That one house affects the whole block and multiple blocks, so there are those conversations. Again, there's not officially a path there, but you know, this conversations I've had with the city manager, we're looking at all these different things and how everything fits together, so. I would probably advise this group to reach out to the downtown historic district. I think Thad Taylor's on that. Maybe reach out, have a conversation with them, because if they have standards for buildings downtown, so we even start sniffing around that, maybe say, hey, well, at least building a relationship with that person or that committee, that commission, what that would look like if we do anything downtown.
So just to let this group know, everybody that we've talked to, the Ramsdale folks, Xavier, the chamber, Morton Salt, everybody's excited about this. So it's, I think the desire is there, and we'll be seeing something. There's a window for these grant applications, and I don't know if we're going to need it because of all the paperwork, and we've got to select.
Grants with the
There's a
community
grant
foundation.
cycle, yeah.
And we also, you know, with the caveat, we also talk about the blight, you know, so they do know that coincides together. So I think they're positive with our commission that, you know, they know it's brand new, but there's a lot of potential there.
Have you guys talked with Laura with the community foundation?
We actually have a meeting with her on Friday,
Friday.
if you want to join.
What time? Well, I can't.
It's
9?
9 o'clock at her office.
Who's this?
Laurel.
Laura and Selena.
Okay.
Can I come to that?
The foundation, sure.
Okay.
9.
At the foundation building?
Yeah, well, no, they're on River Street,
Yeah.
West Shore.
Or, yeah.
Is there any more conversation we have on the retaining wall and the murals? I think you guys are doing great work, and you're reaching out and building relationships, which is awesome, so. Is there anything, any more conversations we need to have on that?
I don't think so. I think we can, we're already at 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, and, okay, addressing blight with new property owners, what does that mean?
So that was, I think, an item you wanted added, right, John?
Well, just real quickly, going way back to some of our initial commission meetings, we talked about how blight can occur, and when a property, and there's a cycle. When a property is sold, the cycle starts again, anew. And to me, I'm a spreadsheet and graphics guy, but it'd almost be nice to see, what that process is. If somebody moves out and there's blight, it's identified as
So
blight
that
by the
is
city.
all logged into the city's blight map, so.
But my question was really, if it's halfway through the cycle, it's sold, why does it have to start over again?
I can answer that question. There's two, there's one answer, it doesn't. If it's a demolition, it doesn't. So it doesn't matter, if it's a demolition, it doesn't matter who owns it.
Okay.
If it's anything less than that, it does for court process, because a properly served notice of, it's all court process. That's the reason why.
Okay.
Who do we get to court? And that whole thing of figuring out LLCs and property managers, that kills more of my guys' time than anything else. So that's why, bringing the proper people into court. So we've got, there's a project on 8th Street, at the end of 8th Street, the 8th and Vine, the blue, that went through 3 hands in one summer. And so that's a challenge there. I've told the officer, get it in court, it's not livable, get an order to demolish. So if we get an order to demolish, it doesn't matter. Anything else it does for a court process and due process notification. Which is, as you can imagine, John, is extremely frustrating for the officers. Because as soon as the cops put a lot of pressure on somebody in court, they dump the property and now we start over. So it's tough. It's very difficult.
Can we,
Is there a way to, make an ordinance?
Yes.
Or something to?
Yeah.
So they have an ordinance in Muskegon, but I don't know if the city has an appetite for that. I mean, you're back to enforcing an ordinance. What Muskegon does, my understanding, is that they have an ordinance that if you, the city council, I'm paraphrasing here, but I can have the safe build guy the next meeting, has to approve the selling of blighted property. They typically want to see a list of how you're going to remedy that. I don't know if our city council has appetite for that, to get into that business.
Can we ask the question at least? Because I'm going to kind of jump into item 7 here. I'm seeing houses with just smashed out windows in our city, and to me personally, nothing screams blight more than that. And it gives me just this, I'm getting passionate here, rotten feeling in my stomach. And I see these broken out windows that, I get that sometimes, a kid puts a football through a window and a couple weeks it's fixed up. But just months long, just big broken windows. There's one on Monroe, and I'm pretty sure that's on the schedule
It's
to be,
fire, there's a fire.
yeah, to be demoed. But I mean, I don't like seeing boarded up windows, okay? But I think seeing a big smashed out window is worse than just a board over it.
Well,
And I just, to me, if I was visiting Manistee and I saw that, I would think, well, this is a blighted town, man. And that's not the only one that I've seen. And I really think that, being a part of this commission, I needed to point that out.
okay.
So that, in summary, the synopsis of that is that we would like to ask council if they would want to have some sort of ordinance to
I think so.
make sure that if a property is being sold, that there's a disclosure sign that the new homeowner has to pick up the,
Well, let me do this. Let me find out what Muskegon does through Safe Built and bring it to this commission. So we actually know we're gonna ask council, if we're gonna ask them something.
yeah, I'm
We wanna
just,
make, yeah, let me get what they have. I've discussed it with Bill and the last Safe Built guy. I can revisit that and see if I can put my hands on it so that we have something, if we're gonna ask the city manager to ask council, we have something like nailed down, what we're asking them.
So I was really looking for two things, sorry, I muddy the waters there. So it's that blight cycle, what you just kind of touched on, but there's also smashed and broken out windows that I think, you know, are just inviting, you know, vermin to get into the house, or kids, curious kids, and they're gonna get, you know, climbing through a broken window. But it just, to me, again, the broken windows is a subset of that cycle of blight, but let's at least put some boards over these windows. It's,
well, I think that the
So I-
the
that's-
broken windows, I think the broken window cases were, majority are the ones that are house fires and they are scheduled for demos. I mean,
So the
I think
board goes
that-
up, we have to get a court order, which will take some time, but at least the court order would allow us to do it and get a contract over. Most of those are abandoned houses, I'm assuming.
what's that?
Most of those are abandoned houses, I'm assuming.
The ones that I've seen, yes. I've started a list.
The reason I say that is I don't think there's a whole lot of trade and ownership on those types of situations, but there might be some.
Just, again, there's like doors wide open, windows open.
John, if you have a list, I'd recommend you give it to the police department. I'm sure we're already on it, but
Yeah,
to address.
100% of the time when I turn this in, the blight officer will say we're.
And I know our city manager is frustrated with Monroe Street, but I don't see the sense in seeking money into covering up windows. The whole structure is gonna be demolished probably.
Yeah.
But that's not what you're talking about, so you're talking about other things.
That
too,
was an
Larry.
example.
Yeah, yeah.
that-
Well,
Of,
we've got some, yeah,
that are, again, I'd rather see a boarded up window than one with the, you know,
I would agree.
shards sticking out of it.
we've got boarded up stuff on River Street, so if it's good enough on River Street,
Yeah,
I would
know
agree.
That's
So-
a high priority item.
And I know the city manager, that's a priority for him too. But if we do it without the owner permission, we have to get a court order. We can do that.
But again, just, what can we do to make sure that the cycle's not broken and starts over again? And you're gonna look at what the city of Muskegon is doing. And the other thing is the broken out windows, just really bugs me.
Okay.
So I will follow up with the assigned officers for those homes I've identified in those districts. And I'll just, our next meeting, I'll say, these are the addresses, if that's okay. That I saw this and maybe have some, it's, again, to me, nothing screams more than blight than something like that.
Well, it's the broken windows theory. It's literally broken windows. That's where it stems from. I get it, yeah, you're not wrong.
With all the other things, you could probably just send them to me, so I can
Okay.
send it to the chief and the officers.
Anything else on 7? We're I got 11 o'clock meeting at it.
7 and 8 are probably good.
Yep. Is there anything for the good of the order?
Don't.
Got nothing.
I want to commend the group. Very ambitious meeting. We kind of knew it was going to be. Ball's moving forward. I've got my to-do list. I again commend you guys for what we're tackling. As we're learning, it's not a simple problem. It's complicated. So our solutions are going to be complicated. From boarding up windows to murals to tearing houses down to weed whacking. This group is doing a great job. So thank you for that on behalf of the police department. I don't have anything.
If we are going to, you know, between now and the next meeting, pursue something like that, cleaning that wall or something, do you think we need to get something signed by the property owner for
Yes.
the same situation?
Yes.
Because it's not gonna be, you know, blight related, it's,
Yeah, well, you use a power wash, you crack the brick wall, and now he wants to sue. I think, yeah, absolutely. Every time we do something,
so it still
Yep.
encompasses that type of project, okay?
because we could write in what the project scope is, remember that form.
Yeah.
We write what it is, and so it's just to protect this and our volunteers, and so,
Willing to let us use their water?
We'll have to coordinate with that. That one's gonna be pretty difficult for that. That's why I was thinking that I could talk to the water department to hook up to.
Well, this will be, if we do this before our project date, which sounds like we're going to, it might be a good time for us to tackle that question, how do we get water? So
Yeah.
that's good.
I know on a lot of our construction projects, that's what we do, but this is kind of different.
You've got next scheduled meetings, this is FYI?
Yep.
Okay, so we have Monday, we have 2 in August, and then 1 on Wednesday right before our project date, which I think is gonna be great. We have a Wednesday right before the Saturday, and we can address any last minute problems.
Do you think we're gonna need a work session in between there
I think we play it by ear,
for the project? Okay.
because we've got August 8th, and August 8th is in 2 weeks, and then every 2 weeks we're meeting, so if we have a problem, I think this group's pretty flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
We are adjourned. That'll be stuff, okay.